My mother-in-law demands a family honeymoon.
Everyone should be getting in on the action.
I, late 20s, am getting married to my fiance, also late 20s, in a few weeks. I've noticed some weird, subtle behavior from my soon-to-be mother-in-law. She cried for a month when her son moved out to live with me. That's not subtle. And she calls him twice daily, once on her way to work and again coming back to rant about her day. By the way, this comes from Bugcat. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I've dated plenty of people before and never encountered this level of attachment. I'm my partner's first girlfriend, though. I've brought up several times that the constant multi-hour calls make me uncomfortable, since I want to spend some afternoons with my partner after work. Valid! Thankfully, he understood and admitted he felt guilty, which his mom is very good at making him feel. He doesn't enjoy the constant calls either, so he started creating distance. She still calls daily, but now it's under an hour. Wow! It used to be twice over an hour? That's okay. Honestly, it's still weird, but since it doesn't directly affect me anymore, I've gotten used to it. There have been instances where I got the vibe that she sees me as someone who took her husband, who's actually her son. Icky.
Weird. Okay.
I've kept my distance because I know we'll never have a close relationship. I mean, yeah, she thinks you stole her son, her husband's son. Gross.
Which is weird.
My partner wanted me to be like a daughter to her since he has no sisters.
Okay.
What? I'm sorry. I'm going to read that again. My partner wanted me to be like a daughter to her since he has no sisters. What does that mean?
I don't really think it's that bad of a thing.
Is he saying like he wants his mom to have a daughter? That doesn't make
Well, my mom would view Angie as a daughter. Like, oh, I've never had a daughter before.
But I feel like he should have been like, she's never had a daughter. She always wanted that connection. But I feel like the way he phrased it, weird.
You don't like, okay.
But I told him that's not happening, especially given her odd behavior when he's not around. Despite this, I've always treated her respectfully as his mother. I'm from an Asian country, so respecting elders is ingrained in me, even when they're not necessarily right. Things were fine until wedding planning started. We're getting married in my home country, something my partner wanted, which I agreed was fair since I'm permanently moving to his country. Everything went well until his parents asked for help planning their trip. I was happy to assist, but help actually meant she wanted me as their full-time personal guide and translator for their entire stay. When I realized this, I told her it was overwhelming because I'm not going on a family vacation. I'm the bride with a wedding to plan. I also have guests flying in from all over the world that I haven't seen in ages. My mother-in-law wasn't happy. I explained that since I rarely visit my home country, I wanted a few days apart from them to finalize wedding preparations and catch up with friends and family I've been out of touch with.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think the mother-in-law has had anyone in her family take the spotlight away from her.
No.
She's having a hard time.
She's going to be so upset that it's not happening in her country. Even if she is coming, she's going to be like, I want to stay in this. I'm still accommodating them for 10 out of their 14 days, but I'll step away for a few hours on 5 of those days for personal matters. Despite this, she keeps expressing how uncomfortable she is because she doesn't speak the language and has never been to my country.
Wow.
Oh, boo-hoo. Don't come.
Only if there was like a way to learn a new language.
Or just like get over it.
Or
I
like
don't know.
a way to like look up YouTube videos and understand the country more. Dang,
Literally.
I wish there was a way to do
Anything.
that.
Or like just have a person who knows the language, OP.
Or
act
be
as a
excited
translator.
about going to a place you've never been into with people that doesn't speak the same language as you and learning things.
Shock. My partner reassured her that the infrastructure is great. Many people speak English and most signs are bilingual.
Dang.
Yeah, there are so many. Yeah,
Holy cow.
Even easier.
Even worse. Not everyone speaks English. and I'll have some
gosh.
people that speak English and they think they know it better than me. Wow. This is crazy.
Then she found out that the day after the wedding, my partner and I won't be spending time with them. Oh, that's normal. That's what happens.
I really would love to understand the mind workings of a mother
Who wants to spend the honeymoon with her son?
And also was like, you stole my baby boy from me.
Ew.
What is this?
Ew.
Mate's Hotel?
Bates Hotel?
That. Is
Yeah.
it that?
Yeah. Weirdo. Instead, we planned a stress-free day for ourselves, followed by a small evening gathering with friends I haven't seen in 7 years. She was furious, claiming that in her culture, the day after the wedding is traditionally spent with family. The only time I've heard of this is in Bridgerton, which she's currently watching.
What is her tradition? What is her, culture? What is it?
We don't know.
Okay, well, I guess it's just Bridgerton. That's her culture.
It's just Bridgerton. She's like, no, Bridgerton's my culture because I said so.
Why do you need to spend so much time with this guy?
She's obsessed with him.
What's going on?
Neither my local friends nor my partner knew of this tradition. Because it doesn't exist, at least in, her world.
It exists in the land of Bridgerton.
She called us extremely disrespectful for not spending time with her when she's making the effort to come all this way for your wedding. For a wedding. What? I tried staying civil, but finally told her that if I were European, I doubt she'd be acting this way. I also pointed out that she's being selfish by expecting me to cater to her every need while I'm planning my own wedding. Yeah. I mean, she's making the wedding all about herself. She's done no research on my country, rejects all my suggestions, and keeps asking for more help. Now she's upset, saying I'm overreacting and that all she wanted was to know where to get food. Was that all you wanted? Or did you just want your baby boy to be with you forever and never marry another person?
Did you know what may have happened?
What?
In the relationship?
What?
So whenever OP's husband, soon-to-be husband, had to eat actual food and not be at her tit, she's probably sad. She's probably having a hard time about it.
That's crazy. That's a crazy sentence. It's probably true.
That
I would sentence.
Love to know, at what age does your husband stop drinking from it? 4? 5?
Does your husband stop?
What does this husband specifically?
Yeah. Well, at what age did he stop breastfeeding?
Oh, okay.
That's a good question. Meanwhile, I'm stretched thin preparing for my wedding, and I'm done with her playing victim and manipulating the situation. Thankfully, my soon-to-be husband finally sees her behavior for what it is. Good. Because you only have a problem if he doesn't see this,
He just got done drinking the milk and, I kind of actually see where she's coming from on this one.
That's gross.
That's what he's doing.
I know, you're right. He's disappointed in his mom, though he thinks I might be overreacting about the micro-racism part. Of course you do. You don't get to say if OP's overreacting, because OP's the one experiencing it. You don't get to be like, no, you're not experiencing microaggression. I know as a white person, you are not feeling that way. Huh?
In Bridgerton, they felt that way, so.
Yeah, and he's like, no, that would be, yeah. It's like if all the people in Bridgerton were like, no, you're not experiencing that.
Bridgerton's wild, guys.
Believing she'd act the same way even if I were just European. Interestingly, she travels to Europe regularly despite not speaking the languages beside English, and manages just fine planning everything herself. So here I'm asking for advice. How could I handle this wisely without letting it ruin the start of our marriage? Update. And there is an update, folks, as you can see. But yikes. I think you need to talk to your husband and tell him he needs to set boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. Because again, you only have a problem if he can't set boundaries with his mom.
Yeah.
And he needs to go to his mom and say, hey mom, this is my marriage, or it's about to be my marriage, and you can't insert yourself into it. We're not going on the honeymoon with you. I don't care if you think that we're supposed to spend time with you. This is our wedding. You're coming here to see our wedding. That's it. And also, don't, stop doing those microaggressions against my fiance.
Yep.
Easy.
I agree. Really weird.
Really weird.
Honestly, I know, 6 months, a year from now, it's going to be an issue in your marriage. It's going to involve the mother-in-law. She's going to want to do something that, as a couple, you guys don't want to do, but good, jolly old milk drinker boy wants to listen to what his mommy has to say.
Yeah, well, I think once you guys have kids, you could be like, that's my child. I want to insert myself into your parenting.
Actually, I think my mom said that her breast milk's better than yours, babe. So
Ew.
we should probably do that.
Ew. Ew.
Sorry.
Update. It's not a complete win, but there is an update. I sent a long message to my mother-in-law explaining how stretched I am, how I can't meet her expectations, and shared personal matters, including that I delayed seeing my great-grandmother, who's in intensive care and can't attend my wedding, to cater to her. This will likely be the last time I see my great-grandmother, so I'm definitely prioritizing her now. She left me on red and went to see her to set boundaries.
Dude, just him? Just him. You
Good.
sent your strongest soldier, in air quotes,
Well, OP
to the
shouldn't have to go
mother-in-law?
there. OP shouldn't have to be involved. He needs to go set his mom straight.
he's not, dude. What's gonna happen is the mom's gonna be like, actually, you're not seeing this right, and then he's gonna come back. No. Don't
If
make
he
him the
comes
middleman.
back-
Go with him. This is what you gotta do. He has to go talk to him. You have to be there, making sure he's saying all the words that you told him to say and to talk to her about. Because if he goes there, she's gonna manipulate him and say,
Well, I think
this
if
paint
he's
a whole picture of
manipulated, then
something
you know
else.
that the relationship's not going to work, and you don't marry him.
I don't know. I think you should just go there in the back and just be like,
Like
give
wearing
him the eye.
sunglasses. She left me on red, and future husband went to set boundaries. I know some might not like this, but he went because she wanted him to accompany her to a doctor's appointment. I told him that's something her husband should do, not him, and he agreed. While there, they had the boundary chat. Yeah, he's like at the doctor's appointment with her. He's like, Mom. She's like, hold on, I'm getting a pap smear. We need to have a talk. Her future husband had a long talk with her, and she didn't take the feedback well. She asked why I couldn't just call instead of sending a message. But future husband explained that messaging helps me communicate clearly since English is my second language without getting lost in emotion. She was upset, but said she'd no longer ask me for advice, which felt more spiteful than genuine. She cried, saying she'd ruined everything, and was upset because she thought she'd finally have the mother-daughter moment she always wanted. I told future husband, I don't even do that with my own mom. She can't force her fantasy on me.
yikes.
Future husband apologized and said if he ever had to choose between me and his mom, he'd always choose me.
Woo-hoo.
He's the type who'd rather sacrifice himself to make everyone happy, but didn't realize how that affected how she treated me. My best friend's mom, who has 3 married sons, called my fiance and gave him firm advice about his mom's behavior not being okay. Then my mother-in-law called. I expected some apology or acknowledgement of my message, but instead got a 45-minute call about what outfit she should wear and what hairstyle for my wedding.
Oh my, that is so exhausting. Why is that a 45-minute phone call? Why? Why? How is that ever a 45-minute phone call?
I've been reading about self-absorbed behavior and picked up on signs. I mean, these are neon bright signs. These are billboards. When I told her that I'm not an expert and can't give the right answers, she snapped, saying this was important to her, so I should care. She was treating me like a fashion expert when I'm clearly not. Asking questions you normally ask an experienced hairdresser. By 35 minutes in, I realized she might not only be self-absorbed, but also just a lonely old lady with no friends. I told her several times I needed to hang up, but she kept piling on questions. Eventually, my fiance came home, told her we needed to hang up, and ended the call. Future husband and I discussed how I understand she's his mom, but we'll never, ever get along. Our personalities don't match, and I'm not particularly daughterly with my own mother either. I prefer knowing what I want when shopping and investigating things myself rather than constantly asking people. I told him I'd prefer keeping distance, staying civil, but will never have the relationship she's expecting.
Dude, this guy is gonna have one heck of a marriage and one heck of a relationship with his mom after this.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, he can't set the boundaries. He's not doing a great job.
Yikes. It's gonna be so tough for him.
Yeah.
He's gonna feel defeated.
Well, he says that he'll choose OP, but he still hasn't fully chosen OP, you know? Like, he's still split.
He is.
Also, she's never paid for anything when we hang out, unlike my friends' moms, and has never gotten me a birthday present despite numerous gifts I've given her, so she's not really even doing the mom-daughter thing very well. Well, once she got me $5 earrings that broke the same day, only after I'd mentioned to future husband that she'd never gotten me anything. I shared my belief that she might be self-absorbed and showed future husband some articles. He didn't fully agree, but could see where I was coming from and would keep an eye on it. For the wedding, he suggested sticking to our original plan of showing his parents around for 3 days while focusing on how they can find their way back, then making last-minute excuses for more time to ourselves. So again, he's still trying to accommodate his parents above all else.
His mom. I can only imagine the type of person his dad is.
Yeah, non-existent apparently.
Oh no, he's there. He's a bobblehead.
I feel like he's
Whatever you say.
yeah, I feel like he's just kind of
Shaking his head up and
Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. He just lets Gromit do all the work, and he's like, yeah, whatever you say, well, Gromit.
down. Gromit.
Gromit.
That tree just speak Vietnamese.
What is that from?
It's a meme.
Riley, I'm going to cut off your mic.
It's Wallace and Gromit
I'm
from
gonna cut off your
whenever
mic.
they were in the Vietnam War.
Vietnam War? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a meme.
That's a crazy meme. He'd made a comment about giving mother-in-law the benefit of the doubt, that she might be hyperfixated on clothes to make sure our relationship was okay, and shows intentions through actions rather than pressure. He keeps making excuses for his mom, so he hasn't chosen you.
He hasn't. And he's still listening to her BS excuses and, you know.
I told him, we'll see, but I'd like to start building distance and we'll decide after the wedding if his theory is true.
After?
Let's not wait that long. By the way, you should never wait to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Don't wait until after the wedding to fix this. Fix it now.
Yeah.
If he can't set those boundaries, then he's never going to set them. Literally, he keeps undermining everything you say.
Yep.
You say, hey, your mom is doing this. And he says, no, she wouldn't do that. You say, hey, your mom is like kind of racist. And you go, no, that's not my mom. He's not believing anything you say. He's not on your side.
Because he keeps looking at the painting she's drawing out for him and believing that it's true rather than actually having any critical thinking skills for his mother.
Yeah.
He's under her thumb. You have to
Agreed.
realize that. And do you want to spend the rest of your life trying to just fight your mother-in-law? It's just going to be a battle at every holiday, at every Thanksgiving, at every Christmas, at every Boxing Day with your mother-in-law.
Agreed. But there's a little bit left to the story. We agreed to focus on the wedding for now, since we're only weeks away. Then have a proper discussion about approaching her afterwards. I want to see if she'll act differently as future husband hopes, or if this is just another example of her manipulating me. We know what it is. I know this isn't the update everyone expected, but I see hope since future husband is fully on board now. He is not fully on board. This man is on board the way that like Jack was on the door in Titanic. He's not fully on board at all. We even discussed encouraging her to see a psychologist once we're all back. I've left out some details, but overall this feels like a positive step forward. Don't worry, I'm on birth control, and my next year will be a trial period, which my fiance knows, to see how things goes. Your first year of marriage shouldn't be a trial period. Thank you all for the advice. I'll update again if there's news after the wedding. P.S. We'll have a peaceful honeymoon since they forgot to get a SIM card for Europe, where they're heading after visiting my country for the wedding.
But they don't know how to do it electronically.
Also, my fiance decided to uninstall WhatsApp until we're back from the honeymoon. And that's the end of that story.
All right.
At least you did something.
I do have a hot take.
Yeah, what's your hot take?
Some people have thrown around the idea that marriage should be like a sports contract.
Uh-huh.
Usually what players do is they sign for like a team for 4 years for X amount of money. You take the money out. The money is commitment. So you can sign for 4 years, and around like the 4-year mark, you can kind of.
You're like, are we going to stay married?
Yeah, we're going to re-up.
Renew the contract?
We're going to extend this, or are you going to go play for another team? And then.
I honestly don't hate that.
You can kind of see okay, yeah, we're going to up the ante around the time of the marriage.
I honestly don't hate that idea because it does feel like just vow renewals.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people do anyways.
Yeah.
I don't hate that, O'Reilly.
Yeah.
That's the first idea I'm kind of on board with.
First?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, not first.
I saw someone else had this idea, but I was thinking about it during this.
Yeah.
It's dude, if you have any kind of, I need a trial period. Well, maybe they can play for the team for a year. I need to think this over. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, folks, we got another story.
We do.
I was uninvited to a wedding after I already spent $500.
Where's my $500, man?
I, 20 female, was supposed to attend the wedding of my friend and boyfriend's 23 male best friend in a few days. However, I just found out that I have been uninvited from the wedding entirely. The wedding is across the country, and the plane tickets for it were over $500 and non-refundable. My parents bought the ticket as my Christmas gift since I couldn't afford them, but it was a lot of money even for them. My boyfriend is a groomsman at this wedding to a guy who he's been best friends with, and we have been in a friend group with. By the way, this comes from throwaway 87627628876. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. When my boyfriend asked him what was happening, he said he didn't know they were going to run out of space. They had to get rid of all +1s, and then I was never actually formally invited, but just as a +1. On top of this, both of the people getting married unadded me on all social media.
What?
When my boyfriend asked why, he responded that I had disrespected my boyfriend, disrespected his fiance by talking crap about her to his, the groom's, sister, and then also disrespected his sister. The conversation in which he's referring to was when his sister started to me, my boyfriend, and her roommate one day. Everything said was agreed on by everyone in the four-way conversation. Disrespecting his sister? I have no idea where this came from. For context, his sister liked my boyfriend and repeatedly for months this year flirted with and tried to get close to him in front of me. Wow, I found what they're doing. They're trying to get you away at the wedding so she can flirt with your boyfriend.
Yikes. Big old yikes on a big old bike.
She started being a massive cold witch to me out of nowhere when he cut her off. As far as disrespecting my boyfriend goes, I am not perfect and have made mistakes. The thing the groom is talking about specifically was a TikTok I had posted about a celebrity guy being good looking, even though people like to pretend he's not because of his personality. A conversation I had had with my boyfriend previously. I deleted the TikTok and apologized.
That is the most like Gen Z coded thing I've ever seen, or like whatever's the one below that, where it's like, yeah, I did make a huge mistake in that I posted a TikTok implying another man could be attractive. Okay.
So all of this started from the sister lying to the groom. My boyfriend has said he will say something, but not because I want to. I'm doing it for you. That was a slap in the face, as I firmly believe my person would not only stand up for me, but fully take my side and not go to the wedding. I told my boyfriend this, and he said he can't just not go because he's a groomsman. But if we were engaged or married, it would be different. We have been dating for over a year. My best friend, who knows all these people and was also friends with all of them previous to all of this, is out of the country for a year, but I told her what happened. She is furious and thinks I even need to break up with my boyfriend. The issue is the tickets for the wedding are also where my boyfriend's family lives, and I was going to stay and visit with them for a few days. And then he has tickets to come visit my family right after. I don't know what to do. I am pretty hurt. I wanted nothing more than to have a nice holiday with my family and the man I love, but I don't know what to do anymore. And it has been destroying me. It is important to note that I love my boyfriend and he loves me very much. Aside from his sleep schedule, our relationship is perfect and he does a lot for me. He is very kind and non-confrontational, so this whole situation is driving him insane.
Okay, so there it is. It's like the real solution here is he needs to talk to his best friend one-on-one on the phone and be like, what's going on? Why is this happening? I need to come here with my partner. I want more than anything to be there for you, but if I can't bring my partner, it's not going to go down like that. And he's just really petrified of having to have that confrontation. I think that's what it's reading to me.
I am not really sure what to do. Do I proceed forward and try to enjoy the holidays, not going to the wedding? Or do I call everything off and waste all of the money? I am in a tough spot and unsure what to do. And we have an edit to add. Here's some additional info since I have heard a lot of incorrect assumptions in the comments. My initial post was brief because I didn't want it to be too much info or too long, but I'm now realizing that was a mistake. I think some clarification is needed in respect to the sister thing. We were long distance over the summer when we were home from university. He lives nowhere near the sister. He was only at school 2 weeks before me. In that time, she was flirting with him, which he did not realize or shut down. Over the summer, I didn't communicate with him much because I had a lot of things happen in my life, including one of my best friends taking her own life. Because of this, I was very distant and didn't even call him much. I know some people are going to blame me for this, but I was grieving heavily. This left him worried I was going to break up with him due to how distant I was being. Not shutting the sister down to me was single behavior, and he apologized and made up for it and cut her off before I even brought anything up or asked. But he had been friends with her for a while, so it took him a while to notice. Nobody else knows about this, and sister has since moved on to obsessing over like 10 different guys. She just holds a grudge. Additionally, we are all religious and there would be no hooking up involved. The groom would also never want his sister to date my boyfriend for a few reasons. So the assumption they're trying to set them up isn't quite right. I only shared this info to explain what groom was talking about and why sister was salty. This was also well before the TikTok fiasco, which the groom was the only one who was super mad, as my boyfriend doesn't even have TikTok, and told my boyfriend to dump me over. As far as being uninvited, it was the groom's father who sent out the email officially uninviting all +1s, unbeknownst to the groom himself, and it was due to a large number of the bride's family being in a small venue that wasn't planned for.
Okay, dude, you back out of this. This is a nonsense.
This is
Also,
getting crazy.
is your best friend isn't going to be like dump your girlfriend of a year because of a TikTok she posted about a celebrity. That guy is pathetic. If he's telling you to dump your girlfriend over that, I question how close y'all really are. This is like and it sounds like a complete nightmare cluster F. Like, just be like, you know what? With all the uncertainty that has been thrown at this, I'm going to back out of the wedding party. I find it really uncomfortable that you are demanding I break up, that you demanded I break up with my girlfriend over a TikTok video. I wish you the best.
The other groomsmen are not bringing their girlfriends. For the people saying, how can I say he loves me? I am disabled. I had a severe sports brain injury that put me in a coma and had to relearn how to walk. It has left me legally blind and with some other things like an inability to read without technological assistance, and no balance, resulting in the fact I cannot drive or even ride a bike. My boyfriend takes very good care of me, but I cannot go into great detail about all of this. Just know that he has taken care of and done more for me than anyone else in my life aside from my parents and best friend. This friend getting married was a friend of both of ours until all of this happened and even introduced me and my boyfriend. All of this is extremely out of character and has left everyone shocked. Even the groom's cousin and best man is on my side. The bride herself is likely behind all of this, as she always would go out of her way to be a knucklehead to me and my best friend, although we were nothing but nice to her. I hope this adds a little bit of context, and to the people saying they hate me because I seem to love drama, I hate the drama more than any of you. It came out of nowhere and I am unsure of how to proceed, which is why I wrote in. I'm sorry if it's confusing. I cannot see to edit well and am listening to everything. We have some comments. Comment 1, can you exchange the tickets for airline credit to use another time? Usually airlines allow this. Someone replied, I'm guessing that they are setting the boyfriend up with someone else at the wedding and he knows it and is okay with it. Comment 2, wake up, OP. They've planned it all along, but suddenly you're the problem for stating the obvious, not them for their horrible actions. Gaslighting 101, give me a break. If it were me, here's my strategy. Try to get an airline/miles credit. If that's not possible, use the ticket and have fun. Solo single girl holiday. Let the boyfriend know why you're breaking up with him. No ultimatums. Move forward. He's not your person. Work on myself and seek support through this rough patch. The silver lining is he showed you who he was before you married. That's a huge blessing. You just don't realize that yet. Totally understandable. Sorry you're going through this. Remember, everything is gonna be okay. Comment 3, your boyfriend doesn't like or respect you enough to stand up for you unequivocally. His friends don't like you. Your friends don't seem to like him and his friends. Why exactly would you stay in a relationship that constantly puts you around people who hate you? There's a part of me that thinks that OP might be so concerned over the fact that, like, he helps take care of her, so, like, he loves me. Like, no one's ever done that for me. Girl, a ton of people would do that for you. Like, you are not too much as a person to ask for the basic needs of that. So I don't think that that's a reason to stay if that's, like, the reason that you're clinging to. Not that I think that it is, but don't linger on that, I guess. But something's fishy. And I think I agree with the comment that even if it's not the sister, they are trying to have your boyfriend flirt with someone. I don't think your boyfriend's in on it, but...
And it's like all of the +1s being canceled by the stepdad, because of
by
the
the
venue,
bride's dad.
by
So-
the father-in-law.
But
because
that's
of
why I'm
the
saying I
bad
agree with
venue.
the thing about the bride's.
And then it was the best friend was the one who even set them up in the first place. So it's like, why are these other people so invested? It doesn't make any sense. There needs to be that phone call where someone is like, where a boyfriend is like, this is what needs to happen or it's not happening for us.
Right.
That needs to happen. My friend dropped me one day before her wedding, and now I'm considering filing a case.
Ooh, well, did she drop and then boot you?
I was dropped as a bridesmaid just 2 hours after the rehearsal dinner. B and Allie are my college friends. B asked me and Allie to be bridesmaids when B got engaged. We all became friends during nursing school, and Allie and B graduated together since they had to retake a class after our first semester together. I helped them study, invited them to my wedding when I got married, and we were all happy for B. By the way, this comes from user No Tangerine 2001. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something different, well, just let us know in the comments. NOP says, the trouble started when I couldn't make the rehearsal walkthrough this afternoon due to being too tired after my overnight shift as a nurse. It was the third day in a row. I texted B apologizing and confirmed I'd make it to the other festivities. Allie, also sick, couldn't attend the rehearsal walk or dinner, and B seemed okay with things. As I was getting ready for the rehearsal dinner, B's attitude shifted and intensified when she changed the schedule last minute for the wedding tomorrow, making us arrive an hour early. I texted B, but she didn't reply, clarifying her text and the previous times. No reply, so I texted the Maid of Honor, her sister. She gave me 3 options. I informed her my makeup appointment had us done at 11, but we wouldn't make it to the venue until after. The bride was now requesting us to be there at 11, ready to go, since we missed the walkthrough of the venue in the afternoon. The ceremony starts at around 5. The bride had a mini rehearsal for 11:30 and wanted the bridesmaids in the venue at 10:30. I explained to the Maid of Honor that the bride previously agreed with me and Allie weeks ago to allow us to get there at noon. It was a very short notice for my makeup artist. The Maid of Honor gave me 3 options. I have my makeup done at the parking lot, do my own makeup, or don't come. She seemed cold, so I wanted to clarify if me and Allie were welcome. She assured me we were, but they weren't going to accommodate the noon time the bride previously told us, and we needed to be there by 11. I didn't reply to her text after that. Feeling pressured, I called my makeup artist, and initially she couldn't come that early because of her kiddos, but she ended up making arrangements to meet up earlier for me and Allie. I had this figured out before the rehearsal dinner, which I attended with my husband an hour later. I had one mini panic attack in the car, but I pushed through and made it to the rehearsal dinner. During dinner, the bride never talked to me.
The bride is like a host at that thing. Like, you gotta make your rounds as the bride.
Why are we making our own wedding more difficult?
Come on.
You're starting your own drama. Her mom welcomed me, and when I went to say hi to the bride, she gave a brief smile and turned back to her friend. Oh my God. She just wants drama. I know people like this. They're the worst. Which was odd and made me nervous. She's usually very warm and welcoming. Later on, the Maid of Honor was a bit cold with me and asked what I was going to do. I informed her I figured it out and I'm going to be there at 11. Things felt tense and my heart was breaking. Friend Allie couldn't make it because she was sick, and I felt bad not having her there either. I made small talk with the table and got everyone to share their Netflix picks this week. The rehearsal dinner ended when the father made an announcement that those staying at the hotel a few blocks down were welcome to mingle in the lobby for a few. Everyone got up fast and started leaving quickly, so me and my husband went home since our sitter time was limited and we lived 10 minutes away. When I got home, I finished the bride's hair extension order and put it in a gift bag. She wanted custom hair extensions for her wedding. She wanted the extensions as a gift. In exchange, she agreed to allow me to use a wedding photo to promote my business. I spent roughly $600 finding the best hair extensions for her. I had to order 3 sets to find the perfect match for her, and eventually had to choose 1 set to custom dye. I packaged the gift and texted the mother of the bride. No answer. An hour later, I texted the bride. No answer. The Maid of Honor texted right away to inform me that I was unwelcome at the wedding tomorrow.
What?
Oh my gosh.
What?
That is just so insane to me because I was already just like, no, never take publicity as payment. But then it's
Well,
like,
it's also supposed to be one of your closest friends. Which,
Yeah.
like, by the way, if one of your closest friends wants your services, they should pay you.
for sure.
Because they're your friend.
For sure. I could understand. I guess, yeah, I forgot they were like close or whatever. Everything that I've heard so far doesn't seem like they're close, so I forgot about that.
Yeah, I wonder
But-
where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Did she think you and Allie like conspired against her or
Ooh,
something?
probably,
But
yeah.
like
So-
Allie's sick. You're all nurses.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Come on.
Opie says I was shocked, sad, and hurt. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't think you did anything wrong. Allie, B, and me all communicated in a group text. It seems like Allie is still invited. She's going to come over to have my makeup artist glam her up, and I'm going to be doing her hair. We think there's a chance Allie might get turned away at the door. I don't know. I'm confused. Can someone point out what I did wrong? I got home at 10 a.m. today. The venue is about 40 minutes away in a different town. They got a hotel in the city for their out-of-town guests. The hotel is really nice, upscale, and there's more to see and do. 2. The venue town doesn't have nice hotel options. The rehearsal was at 1 p.m. I work overnight shifts that typically last 12 to 13 hours. I'm new to nights, so please take that into consideration, especially if you work those shifts consecutively. And for those who keep asking about Uber, I can't afford it at the moment. I had a big expense when my dog passed away this month. Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
And in regards to the nursing job, I'm new to working nights. It's really hard on your body to adjust. I've had an accident in the past because of sleep deprivation. I don't want to pass away or hurt someone because of my sleep deprivation. Also, I am a new grad. December was my transition period to nights with my preceptor. Very early on, I was denied the day off. I asked my manager again, and she agreed to allow me to have the day, but was very stern in informing me that December we have blackout dates and that I would be working the day before the wedding, to be fair. Since I'm a new nurse, I'm not able to do my schedule period till I'm off orientation. I'm able to pick days this new schedule cycle, January through February, since I'll be without a preceptor and on my own. In regards to rides, me and my husband work opposite schedules. My son is on school break as well. He's 10. Finances, I've spent a lot of money and time to be a part of this wedding. Right now, I'm financially tight with unexpected expenses like my dog passing away. Edit number 1. Allie didn't get turned away. She sent me a text that B was excited and acting bubbly like nothing happened. She thinks it was probably the Maid of Honor who influenced B. Allie thinks we could still talk things out, but I don't think so. The damage is done. Edit number 2. They had on the itinerary that rehearsal was at 11:30. Allie got there a little late, maybe 11:20 instead of 11. They had an early rehearsal without her, so she missed it. They said she's fine and everyone was bubbly and happy. I'm starting to think it's me. I'm on the thicker side and 10 years older than the rest of the bridesmaids. Maybe it's my insecurities. Every text I sent her was including me and Allie, since we're getting everything done together, and when the bride asked questions. Edit number 3. B is kinda OCD on some things. I know she wanted an even number of grooms and brides. There's an even number now. I know that might have been a stressor. One of our friends from nursing decided not to go to the wedding and came over to cheer me up. I encouraged her to go still, but she didn't like the way this went down and lost respect for B.
Okay.
Edit number 4. Allie's boyfriend just texted me that my name is still on the guest list in the event. Edit number 5. I did the cost calculation of the basic stuff I spent money on, and it came out to $548. I sent a Venmo request and a text. I'm blocked, so I'm not surprised. I might take it to small claims, or maybe not. If anything else happens, I'll update. Thank you, everyone, for the comments. You gonna take it to small claims? That'd be great. You get this on Judge Judy.
I mean, do you think she'd be able to if they didn't have a contract?
I don't know. Judy will have to decide.
Judy, let us know. Get her on the pod.
You mischievous
I bet she
scamp.
would.
Judy, you've done it again.
Done it again. Actually, I don't think it would.
We do have an update.
What are we gonna find out?
We're going to court.
Uh-oh.
I think.
You think?
So, first off, thanks for all sharing your opinions and for being encouraging. So, I sent them a request on Venmo a while back, kinda forgot about it. The bride just sent me a long email basically stating she invested money in me and that I owe her.
What? For what? What'd
You
you do?
uninvited me from your wedding, dumbass!
Yeah.
I owe you nothing!
Yeah. What's this about? What's this about?
Her reasoning is special. Let me just say that. I was going to leave it alone, but after she stated I owed her, my feelings changed. I will update again in the future. Update 2.
Oh my gosh, please tell us what she thinks you owe her for. Please.
I'm considering filing a small claims case against the bride. I would like to know your experiences and how things ended up. We have comments. Comment 1, I'm no lawyer, but your other post said you agreed to cover the expense of the hair extension as a gift. In exchange, she agreed you could use some of her wedding photos to promote yourself. But then when you were ready to apply the extensions, bride didn't answer and her maid of honor told you were from the wedding. So you still have the extensions and didn't apply them to her, right? So unless you've got it in writing that she was supposed to pay you back for the extensions themselves, either in cash or in the monetary equivalent of some other goods and services, I think you'll have a hard time winning. She wasn't able to benefit from your service. She didn't actually get the extensions you made, which is why there's no photos of your work for you to use. It sounds like that was the extent of your agreement. I understand you bought them specifically for her and that hair extensions aren't really a thing you can return or refund, but since you said this was a gift and you still have them, this sounds like it'd be a difficult case to win. And that's the end of that story.
My neighbor tried to humiliate me, so I retaliated.
You're not gonna win this fight.
I am Indian, and I moved to the US recently, around 3 months ago, with my husband and 2 kids. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist
What?
and a writer. Since my husband got transferred, the company was bearing the cost of relocation. The company asked us to take our valuables, gold, silver, or any other precious items, any special clothing item that has a chance of getting damaged during shipping, and some basic kitchen use items with us. While the rest of our household items, furniture, clothes, gym equipment, shoes, etc., would come via sea route that would take up to 2 months. By the way, this comes from Quank44 on the r/Charlotte Dobrave YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. My neighbor Linda, not her real name, is a kind lady who lives alone. She came to my home asking if I needed any help. She got me food after knowing that my kitchen was not set up. Basically, an angel. She told me that she has a daughter, Mary, 22 female, who was to get married in a few weeks' time. I bumped into Linda and Mary when I was returning from the supermarket. We exchanged greetings. Mary was excited to see me, a little overly excited, I should say. That day around 4 p.m., Mary and Linda called me to ask if they could come home, to which I agreed. Mary directly said, "I want you to come to my wedding as a guest." I was surprised and confused. I was happy that I would get to see a Christian wedding, which is very different from Indian weddings. Indian weddings are crazy. This is a whole other story we'll share later. So I was happy, but I was confused as to how she could invite me when we barely knew each other. I honestly told Mary that I was new to the country. I was not aware of the cultural practices followed here, of what is appropriate and what's not. I also told Mary that I didn't have all my party wear clothes except a few saris, which are for special occasions. She told me not to worry. She wants variety and diversity in her wedding. And her bridesmaids, too, are not all white. She has 5 bridesmaids, 1 Asian, 1 black, and 3 normal white. I knew that one must not wear white to a wedding, so I didn't want to take any chance and showed her all 3 party wear saris that I had. A Benaressi handloom pure silk sari with hand embroidered golden work. This sari is very wedding-ish. It was dark pink/magenta with gold details, a cream-colored sari with golden horizontal lines, and the edges of the sari were frilly and made out of cream-colored satin with gold embroidery. A pink and orange ombre or shaded, not able to explain, a pure silk sari from another state in India, handloom again. I showed these to Mary and asked her to choose what to wear and when. She suggested that I should wear the cream and gold sari for the ceremony and the magenta one for the reception. I was a little surprised because cream would have looked close to white,
Yep.
but she insisted.
Girl.
So I agreed. I didn't put much makeup, and since the saris are heavy and have so many details, subtle makeup makes for a good balance. Anyway, the day came and I went to the ceremony, dressed as she asked me to. For makeup, I didn't want to spend, so I did my own basic makeup with a tint cream/foundation, face powder, kohl, a small bindi, stick-on dot on the forehead, tinted lip balm, and for jewelry, I had earrings and bangles. I kept my hair open. My hair is not that great, no styling at all, only shampoo and conditioned hair. I was not aware of practices like assigning a particular seat to guests and gifts being given from the registry. Also, I was tight on budget due to the relocation and all. But Mary had mentioned that she likes Indian traditional home decor items, and I had bought new brassware, a large lotus-shaped brass bowl that can be used in many ways. Home decor with scented water and floating candles, serving platter, any kitchen use. It also had some hand-painted details on the outer rim. Though I had bought it for my home, I decided to gift it. It was new and packed because I can get more when I go to India next year. So I went with that gift and kept it on the gift table, and I took a seat at the back and sat there quietly. Linda came and she took me to introduce to her family and friends. Everyone complimented me in my outfit, my makeup, and also my polite behavior.
Ew, what? Oh my God, I'm sorry they complimented you on your polite behavior? Oh, that's so icky. That's a macroaggression. That's
straight
just
out
straight up
there.
macroaggression.
The turning point. The photographer there came to me and personally asked me if she could take my singles in various poses and backgrounds because she was new in the business, and having an Indian model I am not anything like a model. I am 5'3" and plump. With traditional attire would help her get business from expats or other communities too. I had an idea that they charge per photo, and I did not want Mary to pay for my singles, so I politely declined. After a few minutes, Mary came to me with the photographer and told me to go ahead with those photos since the photographer wouldn't charge any money for that. Photographer was getting a free model. I agreed, and we took a few photos in different poses, and then she got busy with her work. I came home happy, rested a while, got ready for the reception in the chosen by Mary. I went to the venue in a black BMW with another neighbor, female, who was also invited, and she offered to give me a lift. Heads did turn when I stepped out of the car in my magenta sari, not sure if in awe or whatever, but I don't care much. My husband and my kids told me that I looked beautiful, and I felt beautiful. Only change in my look was that I had put jasmine garlands, thin strings, covering my hair bun, which I kept in an unkempt way. I've mentioned my hair is not good. Putting flowers in hair is also common practice in India, and women put 1 or 2 strings of jasmine in their hair every day. The photographer incident repeated since my look this time was more royal and wedding-ish and would be more helpful for the photographer's portfolio. I obliged after reconfirming about the payment with Mary. This time Linda came and told me to go ahead, but I could see that Mary was avoiding me, not responding to my good wishes or anything I said. She asked one of the bridesmaids, the black one, to tell me to sit at the corner table and not disturb the guests. The bridesmaid came to me and told me how Mary invited me to make fun of brown people and their gaudy sense of style. She said, the bridesmaid quoted, "OP will look like a flower bouquet and will be a laughing stock if only OP could come to the venue riding an elephant." She said many more discriminatory things about me, like she chose those color saris for me because she knows that those colors will not suit my brown skin tone. I will be more like an exotic item for guests, free entertainment.
What year is this?
I will realize my place in society and understand what is real class after witnessing a real classy white wedding without all pomp and show. She knew, but it did not happen, that I would wear all the jewelry and come to the wedding looking like Santa's reindeer with bells jingling in my neck. Since I am plump and the saris were heavy, I will look like a tent and a clown. She said more unspeakable things. The bridesmaid, the black one, also said that Mary did the same to her by saying that she is making her maid of honor and giving her a dress different from white bridesmaids, and what she got was an awful looking dress. But I told her that awful dress also could not hide her beautiful face, and she looked glamorous even in that dress. I was appalled at this discriminatory attitude. Bridesmaid also told me that Mary had expected that I would come all caked up with blush applied with the help of a cookie cutter, but my very simple makeup irritated her and foiled her plan. She wanted me to look like a table centerpiece. Well, too bad for her, I ended up being the center of attraction. Anyway, the ceremony vibe also repeated, where people walked up to me and talked to me nicely. They asked what I did and my interests in work. They also asked about the significance of wearing garland, bindi, and bangles, etc., and I answered those. I could sense it in my gut that Mary was not happy and regretting her decision to invite me. She looked grumpy and irritated. She also told the photographer to not include me in any of the reception photos, which is fine. I kept quiet, ate little, and left early. After a week, Linda came to my home with the gift that I had given, and she said that Mary did not like it, so she wants to return it. Linda apologized profusely, but I told her it's okay. We got to talking about Indian rituals, and I mentioned that after the wedding, relatives invite the newlywed couple to their home for lunch or dinner and give them gifts, mostly clothes or jewelry, and then see them off by giving rice, turmeric, and money to the bride. Rice, turmeric, and money symbolize that may their household prosper and always have good luck, food, and wealth. Linda suggested that I should invite Mary.
Linda, shut up. I hate you.
I absolutely did not want to invite Mary after knowing about her discriminatory thoughts, but I agreed since Linda insisted no! This was only to respect Linda's wishes. She is elder and a good person. When I was able to settle down completely after 2 months, I invited Mary and her husband over for lunch, though the food was according to how and what people eat here. No curry or Indian food. Mary still complained about how the food was not very good. Her husband just kept quiet. Anyway, I remember when I had shown my saris and jewelry to Mary when she first invited me. She picked a silver anklet and told me to get exactly the same anklet for her and she would pay me for that. Since she did not like my previous gift, I thought of giving that anklet, new and unused, to her since she had said it clearly and specifically that she wanted that anklet. So I gifted her that. When I was cleaning up after they left, I saw that Mary forgot to take the gift that I gave. She also left the rice and turmeric thing. I called her, but it went unanswered. Then I received a message saying she left it because she did not like it and it is of no use to her. This was the universe's loudest hint to me that I must distance myself from this entitled and discriminatory woman, and I went no contact. By the way, we never want you to go no contact with us. For full episodes of stories just like this, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. Later, though I was not interested in knowing, Linda told me that Mary is behaving rudely with me because she thinks that I stole lemon light, orange light, or whatever freaking citrus light during her wedding with my simple makeup and traditional dressing. She said I tried upstaging her. I don't know if I upstaged Mary in being the center of attraction, but with her discriminatory plan and plot, she definitely upstaged me in being an a-hole.
Hey, burn.
Again, after a few days, Linda came to my house and again apologized and said something unbelievable. Linda told me that Mary wants me to gift her a few of my furniture pieces, coffee table, and a cabinet. They looked like antique because of distressed wood and unique color. I was shocked at this demand and told Linda politely yet firmly that I invited Mary for lunch to respect Linda's wishes and I won't be able to entertain Mary anymore. Mary is discriminatory, toxic, and insecure. Though this is written under the title, Am I the A-hole? I know I am not. And I pray and wish that Mary too gets some wisdom and maturity, and Linda should stop being her daughter's messenger.
Don't put up with people who suck. My husband wants to cancel our wedding for the 3rd time now.
Third time's a charm. Maybe this time it works.
I, 29 female, got engaged to my current husband, 28 male, back in 2019. We've been together 6 going on 7 years. So we have been together 6 going on 7 years. I was also pregnant with our first child. We planned for a 2020 November wedding when our daughter was 11 months old. Oof.
Yeah.
This plan unfortunately fell to pieces because of the pandemic. The state borders were shut and most of my friends and family lived interstate. So about half of the wedding couldn't attend, including my parents, sister, and bridesmaids. By the way, this comes from throwaway 2579542289. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we had to make the heartbreaking decision to postpone the wedding. We didn't want to lose everything and we had our heart set on the date. So we decided to elope with only 4 guests, a celebrant, and photographer. This was all discussed prior and was always going to be a placeholder for our real wedding. We rebooked our wedding 11 months later, and lo and behold, the vid restrictions shut down our town again. Just terrible effing luck. But life goes on. We had been holding off on trying to have a second baby for this wedding, and it was becoming depressing planning something that kept being canceled. So we decided to postpone again without another wedding date in mind and started trying for a baby right away. Fast forward a couple of years and we've welcomed our 3rd child in June 2024. Congrats. Now our family is complete and we are in a good place. It's time to rebook our wedding. I kept him in the loop about my intentions and plans and always asked him along the way what he thought and if he was okay with that. Some info, we've already had most things we needed. Wedding dress, accessories, suits for him and the groomsmen, bridesmaid dresses. It's all been ready to go, sitting in a closet collecting dust. How sad. So about 3 months ago, after speaking to him first, I rebooked the venue and paid $1,000 deposit. All was fine and I finally felt I could get excited again. I sent out save the dates and it's booked for more than 12 months away. I've told all my friends and family and the excitement of getting to have our special day has been building. No, not the excitement. The wedding is booked on our 5-year elopement anniversary in November 2025, which I think 5 years is well and truly long enough. Well, last night, husband dropped the bomb that he wants to postpone the wedding again. This time, he wants to wait and postpone for another 5 years, which would bring us to the year 2030.
Why?
Why? He's like, I just think a 10-year anniversary is better.
At this point, he's become addicted to the.
Yeah, to postpone.
I just love that postponing
feeling.
a wedding feeling.
I'm so beyond devastated and heartbroken that he would even suggest this. Further info, my parents are contributing $10,000 and I'm contributing $10,000 and my husband has contributed $2,000. It was always the plan to elope and have our redo wedding at a later time. And now he's saying it's a waste of money and we're already married. He's only paying $2,000. That's it. He's like, it's just too much money. You're paying way more than him. I never would have agreed to the elopement if I knew that's how he felt. I've given him every opportunity to speak up about what he wants in the wedding, and he always seems indifferent and hasn't had any objections. So this has completely blindsided me. I don't know where to go from here. Marriage and wedding were a non-negotiable for me. If I agreed to postpone to the year 2030, then what's to stop him from saying, well, it's been 10 years. What's the point now? He's definitely going to do that. We've barely spoken today. My eldest child has some intuition despite the entire conversation taking place while she slept last night.
She had a prophetic dream.
She did. She asked to see my wedding shoes and I burst into tears. Like,
Okay.
Mommy,
So-
Mommy, why are you sad?
I do
Yeah.
believe her that her
Yeah.
child had some intuition.
Yeah.
It's also, I love, my child is so intuitive. She just knew.
Yeah.
After I burst into tears,
After I
it's like she
started
knew
sobbing.
something was wrong.
How did she know? She's so in touch with my emotions. I birthed 3 of his children. I should get to be a bride and have a special day that we've been planning for 5 years. You should, but you paid $1,000.
That's really my thing. And she brought it up and she's like, he has had so many opportunities. Like, there has been so
many
much time to
Mhm.
talk about
Yeah.
this. And like, because I even like, to some extent, I understand that reaction of like, well, we've already gotten like
Yeah.
married. Like, if you're a person where that's the important thing, that like, oh, well, we are married, I can understand how after years that expense and that event might not feel as exciting anymore.
Yeah.
You had so much
So much
time
time. Could have said,
to
hey,
talk about that.
I don't really want to do this. Edit. Some people are still confused. We are legally married and we live in Australia. This is a price for a modest wedding and certainly nothing too grand. I was always happy to compromise on price and gave him time to decide on how big the guest list is and which venue to book. He's always had a say and I've always been willing to meet him in the middle. His indifference just meant that I chose what I wanted and he never spoke up otherwise.
Yeah.
Comments. Comment 1, he doesn't want to do it. Maybe he doesn't. Perhaps he was always going along with a plan to keep me happy, but now he's seen an out. I have no idea. His response was, guys don't dream about their weddings like girls do. Reply, maybe that's your angle. What is it he dreams about? How would he feel if you agreed to support his dream and then rug pulled him on it? Reply, she already compromised and meanwhile had 3 of his children. The least he can do is celebrate her for it and give her the wedding she deserves. If he backs out now, he's just a butt that was leading her on all along. And he simply doesn't deserve a wife. OP, he just spent upwards of $6,000 on his dream when I would have loved him to contribute more towards the wedding. But I chose to support his dream and not say anything. What's his dream?
Yeah.
Comment 2, why does he really want to postpone? Sounds like all he needs to do is turn up to the party in order to make you happy.
Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because if he's like, we're already married, we don't need to get, like,
Yeah.
why postpone it? Because your wife has said it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, and
One
I
way or
think
another.
that that's understandable. If that's what she wants
Yeah.
and that's been said, then I think we're fine. So what is the point of postponing it?
Nothing. He just wants to postpone it until she forgets. Bit odd if he can't be bothered to do that for you. He may not be fussed about it, but you are. However, you are actually married. You want a party for the whole experience, and I get that. But please separate wedding reception from marriage because you already have a marriage. Your relationship deserves to be celebrated if it's important for you to experience this. So what's his reason for the delay when it's actually changing nothing? Just money? Because if so, he actually wants to cancel, not postpone. OP, yes, all he had to do is show up. My parents and myself are paying for the majority of it, and I'm planning it all. I absolutely feel married, but I also feel I've been robbed of a special time because of the pandemic. I deserve to be a bride. He just thinks the money could be better spent for an investment property or something. But my parents and I have saved for this occasion, not him. We own a home, so if buying a second property gets put off for a year or two, then what's the harm? And there is an update. Little Burb says, the man is 100% cheating. Whoa! Little Burb, we have no proof
Little
of
Burb
this.
said, I was in Peru and I saw
I was birding in Peru.
I was birding in Peru.
But there is an update. I do think, OP, you got to sit your husband down and
Yeah.
say, hey, baby girl.
Exactly like that.
Just
Do you
like
want to pretend that
Yeah,
I'm the
okay.
husband?
Hey, baby girl.
Hello.
I need that wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we're already
Mhm.
married, and I've loved these past 5 years with you.
I'm going to stop you really
Yeah,
quick.
okay, for
We are
sure.
Australian.
Oh,
So just remember that.
I really loved
Right.
you, and I really loved these
Yeah.
past 5 years with
Mhm.
you. But I just really need this marriage.
Right? I'm going to stop you. A second house. Consider
A
second
second
house.
A second
We're putting all this
God
money
damn
into
it,
the
a
into the
second
wedding.
house.
We're already. I have
I
3
can afford a second house.
I love you.
All right, that's all right then. Update. I have taken some advice and written a 2-page letter to my husband, explaining all my hopes and dreams, and that a wedding was part of the dream,
Mhm.
and something I'm not willing to compromise on. Perhaps, like someone suggested, we call it an anniversary party. I told him I'm willing to wait until 2030, but he will be
No.
the one to cancel the venue, and he will be the one to tell our friends and family. I won't be part of that humiliation.
No, that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I also said I need assurances that you won't pull the rug from under me again. I'm really at a loss that he could hurt me this way. He knew how deeply important it was to me. I'll update again after he reads the letter. It's been a few days before we were able to talk. We had a really nice talk and we were both communicating really well. Because husband is not the best communicator, he doesn't talk to me and tell me his inner struggles. He's been very stressed with the business, and I didn't realize it was making him feel like he was drowning. I think just having a high-stress business with employees and then 3 little kids was just getting to be a lot. Then he had his wife planning a wedding on top of it, and I think he just cracked. I do see now how I've added to his stress. I have told him he needs to speak up more and learn to communicate better. We've been together nearly 7 years. He also said he hates being the center of attention.
And you can tell they're Australian because
Sinna.
there's that E at the end.
Yeah, the Sinna. And has never had any care that it's his birthday. He said he would have preferred a small ceremony under 20 people. I said that I was always okay with that. But you didn't ever communicate it to me, and I'm not a mind reader. I've also communicated to him the importance of the special day that was promised. I had my heart set on it, and that feeling is never going to go away. Because he's been so negative about this wedding this time around, I don't feel like I want to stand up there in a gown with someone who doesn't want to be up there with me.
Okay, I'm a little bit scared. I'm
It's
getting scared
frightening.
again.
I want to give him time to get excited about it. But you know what I'm excited about? You guys listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I got a little bit scared right
Yeah?
at the end
Little
when
friend.
she was like,
I don't know if I
because
want
I
to be up
get
there
it.
with him.
I get where she's coming from. That
Yeah.
she's like, this has been a negative experience.
Mhm.
I want to wait for the next one.
Sure.
It's not 2030 yet.
No.
So I don't know what this new update
Exactly.
is.
I wrote letters to my exes after breakups. It helped to get all my feelings out. Never gave them to anybody, but it did help me process feelings.
Slay.
Look at you. You're killing
Good
it.
job.
You're killing it, real people. Yeah, there is a little bit left. I think that OP, just keep having those conversations. Tell your husband that if he ever has any feelings that will effectively lose you $1,000, bring him up before we spend that $1,000. But there is a little bit left. I don't want to add any more stress to his life, but I still want to work towards our special day. I think for next year, instead, maybe we could do a family photo shoot for our 5-year wedding anniversary. And then in 2030, we can have our 10-year anniversary vow renewal and reception. And I get to wear a wedding gown. And I get to be a bride. Finally. I'll be about 35 years old, so not out of the question. I think I'm just accepting that the pandemic ruined a lot of special times for people. I'm disappointed that he's not excited to have this special day with me, but I'm accepting that it's not meant to be next year. Update 3, no! Now he's backpedaling and saying it's next year or never.
Okay.
We gotta, okay, get that deposit back. Get people going.
Just cutting back to my face just deeply.
Okay. But now I don't want to. Whoa, girl. He doesn't want to and uses the words, let's get it over with. This is meant to be fun. This is not fun. I am so confused. I'm confused too, girl. But there is nothing more to that story, so we really don't know what's
And that was
going
the
on.
update.
My sister refused to comfort our grieving mother. It made me angry.
But she's just a poor old lady. Help her.
Me, 26 female, and my sister, 28 female, have never seen eye to eye. And I get it, we're both adults and have our own lives, but we're both single and childless, so we have flexibility in our day-to-day. By the way, this comes from Personal Window 5728, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, let me give some background knowledge and history between us. My sister, let's call her Sandra, has always been moody and a waking up on the wrong side of the bed person since we were 6 or 7. You never know when she'll be in a bad mood. She could be a sunshine, bubbly person in the morning and then aggressive next. I can't give specifics on us clashing without being obvious in case the rest of my family sees this post. But when we were teenagers, I would ask if she wanted something from the kitchen or if she needed more water. But then she would tell me, "You're being annoying. Leave me alone." Or, "That was stupid for you to ask." Which I'm like, the F? I'm just being courteous. But I'll be danged if I don't ask her either. If I don't ask her, she'll say, "It would have been nice to ask." Or, "What if I wanted something?" Worst part is that she'll hold a grudge, and the next time I ask her to fill up my cup, she'll say, like, who the F remembers stuff like that? Also, my whole life, it's had to be Sandra's way or no way. When it came to back to school shopping, I would tell my parents ahead of time that I needed a pair of jeans and shoes. But then all of a sudden on payday, Sandra would also need jeans and shoes. Then my parents would take me aside and ask, "Can you wait until next payday?" Just to avoid Sandra throwing a tantrum. If she didn't get her wish first, then the guilt trip starts with things that aren't relevant. "But OP got a video game last month." It was a reward for getting straight A's. "But OP got a ride in the front seat on the way to the mall." We rotated and took turns, so she was getting front on the way back. "Why does OP get to take the car? My friends want to go bowling, and I said I would drive." I asked a week ago to borrow the car because I was going to the library for an ACT study group.
Okay, why are the parents so afraid to say no
Yeah,
to
like,
this child?
no.
Yeah.
No, just no. Cause we said so.
Right.
Pull a parentism and just say, "'Cause I said so."
Because I said so.
You can
Yeah.
do that.
Ma-
You're allowed.
It makes no sense at all. Are you scared to make this child upset because
Yeah,
they're
they're
gonna
like,
throw a tantrum?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like,
literally.
We can't say no to her.
They're like, "Oh my god, the only thing we can do to get her to shut the F up is to just give
Give
her
her
what
everything.
she wants."
Give
and
her
that's
literally
what we're gonna
everything.
do because we're gonna give up on parenting her.
Yep. She's weirdly obsessed with money being spent on the two of us too. When we went clothes shopping, I would get 2 to 3 items of clothes because I really wanted some new sneakers, while Sandra would get a pile of clothes. Monetarily, it would be like $75, me to her $200. But if I got new shoes, she'd start whining and say, "Why does OP get new shoes and I don't?" Which, of course, she also got shoes. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, in school, I always had to get A's, no exceptions, while she was praised for B's and C's. I also remember saving my allowance money, $20 every 2 weeks, for gas money, where my sister would always ask for money whenever she needed it. Now, the issue is our parents, that's obvious, decided keeping her mood up and happy was the priority because we didn't want to deal with the backlash. That's what you said. Which brings us to today. And now they're in their mid-20s, guys. This
Goodness
seems like she
gracious.
should have grown out of it.
Yeah, because that stuff did seem like it was teenager stuff
Yeah.
at that point. But still, like, the first thing would be kind of like a haha funny teenager, like just that one.
Yeah.
But with everything
else?
on top of that,
Exhausting.
Yeah, I am actually seeing this happen in real time life with someone back home.
really?
It's just crazy to see how out of hand their sibling has gotten because their parents have just given them anything they wanted.
Yeah, you're spoiling
Yeah.
your kids. It doesn't do them any service.
Honestly.
Oh, biggest thing was that my parents would always tell me to walk away when having a stupid sister argument with Sandra. Me, only me, had to walk away. And then when I did walk away, Sandra would follow me all the way to my room and either walk into my room and wouldn't leave or would continue to yell at me outside of my door. And my parents would just let it happen and wouldn't tell her to go to her room or punt her out of my room. At 28 years old, she's still the same. I'll be danged asking her if she wants to get lunch, and instead of just saying, "Sorry, I already have plans," or just a "no thanks," Sandra will say, "No, I already have lunch plans. Quit asking me. You're being annoying." Like, I asked you one time. This girl is aggressive. Or I'll call her on the way to our parents' house and asking if she wants a soda or tea. Where 1, she usually rejects my calls to keep talking to her best friend, or 2, she'll answer and say, "That's it." She's also always been a hangry person and has just done nothing to take accountability for her hangry self. Like, how am I supposed to know if you're hungry and if you've eaten something recently? Today was just something else. Our mother told us that her cousin passed away. I didn't immediately get to our mom until a couple hours later, But I texted her right away. I'm sorry for your loss. Please remember to drink water and get some rest. Sandra didn't say anything. Shocker. When I realized which cousin passed away, I went to my mom's house because no one should grieve alone. I was updating the family while sitting with my mom, and then my mom finally punted me out to take her medicine and fall asleep. I decided to call my sister on the way home. She didn't answer the first time. Figured she was doing something, whatever. She calls back, and this is how the convo goes. What's up? Oh, well, Mom's going through it, and tomorrow I'm taking her to her sister's to grieve. Oh, is that all? This could have been a home conversation. You're stopping me from getting dinner right now. OP. Oh, really? Well, Mom was asking about you, and I said you were busy right now. I realized in hindsight I probably should have just hung up when she mentioned dinner and dealt with her being mad because I hung up. Can you give Mom a call or text later? Are you suggesting to me or telling me? OP. I mean, Mom was asking about you, so I think she would like the support from both of her daughters. So? That's not my problem. I don't have the mental or physical capability to deal with a crying mom right now. I asked my sister why she is so angry and aggressive in this conversation. If you're in a bad mood or trying to get food, why'd you call me back? I told her this is the reason why I say you're bad at communicating, because you can just say, now's a bad time, or I'll talk to you at the house. Just something instead of, it's gonna be a home conversation and you're wasting my time. Being single and childless, I don't understand the wasting her time thing, because it's always her time. Anyways, I made the mistake of taking out my anger on my dad when I got home. I said, what is wrong with your other daughter? Why is she such a crappy person? We literally grew up in the same household with the same parents. Why can't she contact her mom, who is grieving right now? I also said she has a horrible personality. My friends know how horrible she is based on her actions alone. What I really wanted to say and scream at my parents is, because they enabled her mean personality and bratty behavior, she's stuck like this. A 28-year-old who cares more about seeing friends every weekend than seeing her family once a year. We live in about 8 different states in total. Then complains about why she wasn't invited to a family event. We did, you were in the group chat, which she has muted, and never engaged in the family plans. I'm seeing a therapist to work on accepting who she is and to not try to push my morals and expectations onto her. But these were the expectations and morals we were raised on. And I'm constantly blamed for her bad mood. I see where I'm wrong in this, but like, come on. I don't think it's a bad mood. I think at a certain point, if that's just who you are.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, okay, well, if you're saying that you just get hangry, we've got 3 meals a day, dude. That's a lot of time that you got to be waiting for that meal.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, I get it. You might not always be like hungry in between the meals, but 3 times a day to just be hangry, that's not the food's fault.
It's too
anymore.
many.
That's too many.
And if this has been going on since you were 6 years old,
Yeah.
that's just you, girl.
That's just you.
That's just
it.
your
You
personality.
problem. Yeah.
By the way, your personality can be listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Got a little bit left of the story, but do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just think that's so frustrating. I mean, like, it sucks, too, that it's just them two. They don't have any other siblings.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, they can have, like, the other siblings that aren't the favorite to be like, this is their favorite sibling. Because, like, I feel like that would help, too. But it's literally just, like, OP against the whole fam.
OP against the world, man.
Yeah.
And her sister's bad mood.
Yeah, literally.
10-year bad mood. Oh, no, even longer. 20-year bad mood.
Dude, that's crazy.
Basically.
You gotta punch the highlights out of her hair. I was thinking OP against world, and then I'm thinking this girl is like the 7 evil exes, but all in one. And then I know that wasn't one of the 7 evil exes, but still, it was just a great line from that movie.
I don't need advice on how to handle Sandra. You're danged if you do, and you're danged if you don't. I guess I'm wondering if there are others dealing with people like this in their life. Some agreement that morally, that normal thing to do is to reach out with grievances. Some empathy of having a craphead sister. If someone had enabling parents like mine, did you ever have that hard conversation with your parents that your sibling is a crappy human because they let her get away with everything? Or simply, was there any harm in calling my sister to update her despite texting updates to the family beforehand? Am I overreacting to her not calling her mother? I really can't make her do anything. Maybe some advice on how to accept her behavior and personality. Seriously, am I overreacting? And there is an edit. My sister and I never met our mother's cousin. We just know they were very close, like sisters. My mother's cousin passing did not have an emotional effect on us. I just feel for my mom and want to support her because grief is very hard and you're a nice person.
Yeah.
You want to be there for your mother.
I disinvited my sister from my wedding because she blew up at my fiance?
Yeah, I wouldn't let her in either.
I, 25 female, am getting married next fall to my fiance, 25 male. My parents have been divorced my whole life and are both now remarried. My bio dad would see me every other weekend and was not a safe adult growing up. By the way, this comes from user Casadilius. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I also have an older sister, 31 female, on my bio dad's side. We have the same dad, but different moms. Growing up, a lot of my trauma stemmed from watching my bio dad's treatment of my older sister. We'll call her Michelle. When I was 12 and Michelle was 18, she went off to the military and we didn't have much of a relationship while she was gone. I was really bitter and upset about her leaving me with our dad for a long time. But just through growing up and experiencing life myself, I realized it wasn't her job to save me and that she had to live her life. I also understand that she was in some pretty bad relationships while gone. At the end of 2023, Michelle moved back to our home city and we began to build a relationship as adults. By this time, my now fiance, boyfriend, and I had been together at this point for 3 years. We're living together and she's always seen me with him as an adult. When I told her we were discussing getting engaged, she was so happy for me. Looked at rings with me. It was great. She's blessed to not have to work, and I work from home and work at a work call center, so sometimes I have a lot of passed away time at work, so we talk on the phone for hours when I'd be alone. The day my fiance proposed, she was like the first person I told, and we had already had plans to hang out that evening. When I saw her that night, I asked her immediately to be my maid of honor, and she accepted, and we had a beautiful sister moment. We were out at the bars, my fiance was there, as well as another couple we're friends with, and another girl we're friends with. Everyone except Michelle is about 23, 24, and we all knew each other and were friends. By about 2 a.m., all the bars in the area that we were at were closing, and we were debating if we should go find somewhere else to hang out or just go home. Both of the boyfriends had gotten dress coded a bunch, so we wouldn't get into anywhere good. And the nearest place open was kind of far, and it was north. Everyone was heading south for the night. We ultimately decided to call it a night and see each other the next day. It's a Friday, and we planned to be in the city all weekend until Sunday. I had already told Michelle before we met up to hang out that I wouldn't be giving her a ride home. If she didn't want to pay the Uber prices, that's fine, but I still wouldn't be able to go that far out of my way. She lives super far north and doesn't have a car. I'm usually really accommodating, but we just got engaged, and I knew I wanted to get a little wasted and didn't want to stick anyone else with that drive. We agreed to call it a night, and my friend's boyfriend offered to drive my car to their hotel so I could relax. I wasn't wasted, but did have a headache. And then me and my fiance could head home whenever. When I got in the back seat, my older sister stayed in the front seat. We thought her other sister was coming to get her. But I guess she switched the directions on my phone to go to her house before the hotel without saying anything.
Oh, what?
Our guy friend noticed and asked about it, and my sister became immediately defensive and aggressive. After snapping at him a few times, him and his girlfriend got out of my car and opted to pay for an Uber. I was so embarrassed. I ended up driving my sister home, even though I didn't want to. And she was yelling the entire drive.
About what?
About how those people were so rude and they couldn't drive her home. A 16-minute drive, and she just yelled and called my friends witches and all other types of stuff. I was getting ready to lose it when my fiance interjected from the backseat and asked my sister to try and calm down and that the conversation could wait until we were parked, as he knows how yelling makes me feel.
Yeah, also, why are you still yelling? It wasn't even, it was the other friends first that were like,
She might have been a little tipsy.
Okay, and
But there's still no
doesn't
excuse.
give you an excuse to be terrible.
But here's the thing. OP said the one thing to a woman that you
calm
don't
down.
say.
Yeah, but she was yelling before that.
Yeah, but when she's upset, do you think telling her to calm down is going to calm her down?
No, I still don't think she should yell.
She shouldn't be. No, that's very right. And I think you should have been like, OP, do you want to park?
I feel like OP's just so focused on like, I want to get home. I want to get this sister
She had a
out of
headache.
the car,
Yeah, she wants to.
though.
Like,
yeah,
I'm like,
you
yeah,
don't want yelling in the back.
100%. I mean, you would have thought he was a stranger the way she tore into him. She did so much damage in 16 minutes. Again, 16 minutes is not that far of a drive. She texted to apologize, but when my fiance didn't respond immediately, she doubled down on all the horrible things she said to him.
God. Also, I hate
text apologies like that. Call me, meet me in person. Like, why are we doing this? Like, I just yelled at you for 16 minutes and now I'm just going to send you a text being like,
Everything's okay. I
Sorry.
yelled sorry through the
Yeah.
text. I tried to be cordial for a few months, but by March, we had a falling out as well, and she said some pretty awful stuff about me. And then she blocked me. Here's where I'm feeling like the a-hole. For my birthday, early June, my dad took me and my fiance to dinner and insisted my older sister be there. Okay, I didn't make a fuss. Well, when I mentioned to my dad a week after my B-day that we had solidified everything and would be sending out invites, he started to bring it up. Then a couple weeks ago, he calls me at 6 a.m. wanting to pray and trying to guilt me. That's how I took it, into inviting her. I thought about compromising, and my partner is being so understanding with this whole thing. But honestly, the thought of inviting her after the last interaction is making me physically ill. I ended up telling my dad that Michelle is a 30-year-old woman who talked her way into this, and she can call me if she wants to discuss her attendance at our wedding. A part of me feels like I should reach out to her and try to be the bigger person because I think I actually am more mature and less emotional than her right now. But every time I convince myself to try to talk to her, I open that text thread and see her last words to me and feel like I'm betraying myself for even considering it. But she's still my older sister, and while some people in my life are very supportive and that she doesn't deserve to be there, and this is just a natural consequence of her actions, there are also a lot of people who are very vocal about me needing to forgive her and how this will just make things worse. I really can't decide what's worse, having her miss out or having her there. So am I the a-hole for not inviting my oldest sister to my wedding? We have an update.
no, it's
You're-
your wedding and you get to say who comes. And she was terrible to you.
And your boy, yeah, your
fiance.
fiance, and your friends. Well, she was talking crap to your friends, but
You're being all sneaky.
so she could see all those people and be like, so that 16-minute drive that you didn't do for me
Right.
back then, you guys all suck, and you guys be like, blah, 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 blah.
Like, the odds of her bringing this up at your wedding the first time that you've seen her or talked to her since that is very high.
You think talking to her after you disinvited her to your wedding and she's no longer the maid of honor for your wedding? She got upset about a 16-minute drive home.
I forgot she was the maid of honor.
Yeah, she got upset about a 16-minute drive home, not a
She's gonna get
2-hour
mad
drive.
about everything, and she would be the one like planning
Can
a
you-
lot of the stuff with you.
Can you imagine her like,
No.
oh man, she's gonna be yelling and shouting for the rest of the wedding. I ended up calling my sister today. She was actually very pleasant and understanding.
Understanding about what?
I told her that at this time we're not inviting her to the wedding, but I do want to continue to work on a relationship, and if things change, I would love to change my mind. She said she understands and she loves me and wants me to be happy above all. She said that she'll be happy for me no matter what, and that she's not upset at all or taking it personal at all, not being able to be there, and it's our day. We had a great conversation, and I'm glad that she was able to be positive. Comment number 1, general rule. If your wedding is turning into a crap storm, elope. It's about the marriage, not the wedding. OP states, it's really one side of my family. My stepdad's family is the family I spent the most time with, and they've been lovely. I don't want to damage my relationship with my bio dad's family, but I kind of don't want to invite any of them. It feels so forced to me. Comment number 2, not the a-hole. Look, I know it's your big sister and you want to mend things, but will things truly be mended if you reach out first? You will get some half-baked, nothing apology, and then the entire thing will be dropped. You and your fiance were in no ways wrong that night, unless a lot of stuff was left out of the story. I would just tell your dad, I am waiting for her to apologize. She's not attending the wedding until she can see that she was wrong and actually owns that. Until then, it's her own choice to go no contact with me. And it is her own choice to not be any part of my wedding. If you want to interfere, try asking her what's up and see why she acted like that. But do not come to me and tell me to forget it happened. Which, hey, I was going to do before she doubled in the text messages she sent me. The only way for someone to learn that is for them to stop being coddled. So I will wait. Comment number 3. I feel like a good rule of thumb is the thought of something makes you physically ill. Don't do it. That would apply on any day of the week, and it damn sure applies on your wedding day. And that's the end of the story.
My best friend said I ruined her wedding because I gained weight.
Lose the friend.
I always pictured Kay, 32 female, and I, 33 female, raising our children to be best friends like we were, having them call us Aunt May and Aunt Kay, and growing old together while being those crazy grannies sitting on the porch, causing a ruckus, all that good stuff. That is until her bachelorette party and about 2 weeks before her wedding. We haven't talked in years, and I miss her terribly. By the way, this comes from Maya Madden on the r/Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I've had so many people say that I've got to stop gaslighting myself or allowing her to gaslight me. Which is why, after lurking and listening to all of your stories on our Queen Charlotte channel for years, I'm ready for some honest outside opinions. Back to the story. Kay and I had been like sisters since we were in kindergarten. We did everything together. Where one of us was, the other wouldn't be far behind. We actually had to be separated in class because all we wanted to do was talk and play with each other. We saw each other through the best and worst days. When she was bullied for having short hair, when she was bullied online during the advent of Facebook, when she won awards in soccer, and when she got engaged to the sweetest man after having her heart broken so many times. She was there for me when I had to have emergency surgeries, when I had a stroke, when I graduated from college, and when my dad passed away. I was over the moon when she got engaged and asked me to be one of her bridesmaids. It was truly an honor for me to stand by her on one of the best days of her life and be a part of this new chapter. We had a blast planning celebrations and trying on dresses and organizing the most fun bachelorette party for her. It was a small bridal party consisting of me, her sister-in-law Jay, who was the maid of honor, and another close friend of hers, Bay. Sometime between the initial dress fitting, around 9 months before the wedding, and about a month before the actual event, I had mysteriously lost 15 pounds and even more mysteriously gained more than 40 pounds not too long after, even though I didn't change anything with my eating or activity. I had confided in Kay about my worries and insecurities over my body changing so rapidly.
Hey, confide in your doctor. That's all. You go to the doctor when that happens.
She seemed very supportive the whole time while I was getting tested for a litany of potential health issues.
Good.
We held her bachelorette party a few weeks before the wedding, and I was at my heaviest. The custom tank top the maid of honor had us order barely fit me. I was ashamed to eat. We had a weekend of ziplining and a spa day planned, which I was hoping would lift my spirits. The jokes started the first night. I was so hurt, I don't even remember exactly how it started. We went grocery shopping to stock up for the weekend, and there were whispers. I overheard Kay saying that I was worried about how I lost 15 pounds, but it came back and brought 3 friends with it.
Wow. I walk out. That's what I'm like. I'm out.
Yeah.
That's really nice of you. Thanks.
Yeah. I pretended to fall asleep on the air mattress on the floor. The other girls got to sleep in the bed and the couch, and I just listened to them talk their crap while watching wedding-themed movies and trying to be as quiet as possible while I cried myself into real sleep. Jay and Bay continued to make jabs and jokes the entire weekend, and Kay would join in rather than stick up for me. We had driven in one car out of state, so I didn't have the option to leave. When we got to the meeting spot where my mom was waiting to pick me up, I said a quick goodbye, grabbed my things, and immediately turned to a puddle of tears as Mom drove us home. I was so embarrassed to tell her what had happened, but like most moms, she had a way of getting it out of me. I told her everything, and she was so shocked and disappointed in Kay for not only refusing to stick up for me, but joining in on the bullying. She said she always thought Kay was never much of a leader and just followed others to fit in, and that if I didn't want to be in her wedding anymore, she supported me. But with it being so close to her big day, I figured I'd be the bigger person for my friend. After all, weddings can and often do bring out the worst in people, as all of you know.
That's still not a good excuse to let that happen to you, OP. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's so incredibly wrong and rude. They're
horrible.
Yeah. That does not give them the excuse to like let them get away with this.
And that's not something you say about a best friend that you've known forever.
Yeah. Literally said, you've been there for the worst, and now she's being the worst for you.
The worst, yeah. It's I spent the next few weeks trying to juggle work, doctor's appointments, tests, and trying to find anyone who could let my dress out. I went to at least 3 seamstresses, and none of them could do anything because of the specific material the dresses were made out of. To make matters worse, the shop we got them from had permanently closed. Oh my god.
How does that
What?
happen?
I can't imagine that there's a type of dress, though, that you can't get altered. Maybe the fabric would have to be different in one spot, but still. A little over a week before the wedding, I admitted defeat. I paced around my room and steeled myself to make one of the most vomit-inducing texts I've ever sent and told Kay I didn't think I could stand up beside her at the wedding. My dress didn't fit no matter how much I tried to suck it in with shapewear, corsets, girdles, etc.
Oh.
and I let her know I was told by several professionals that there was nothing that could be done to fix it. That even though I paid for my dress, I would bow out gracefully and would be happy to give it to one of her cousins or another friend, and that I would be sitting in one of the front rows with the rest of our families to support her. She didn't reply. Instead, Jay sent me a Facebook message berating me about how cruel I was to do this to Kay when she was stressed enough, and that I needed to be a real friend and figure it out. Then, Kay's mom, who was like a second mom to me, called and said that she could get some shawls for all of us to match our dresses so that I could wear mine without zipping it up. A solution.
What a good solution from the bride's mom that's been very caring and thoughtful and nice.
Crazy. Mind you, it's early October in Ohio, something that we affectionately refer to as the devil's second wind. The ceremony was going to be held in a 100-plus-year-old church, which didn't have AC, and the reception in her parents' barn, which also did not have AC. But she was my best friend, and I was willing to do anything to make this work and make it up to her for causing so much drama. You didn't cause any drama.
You're trying to
Didn't cause any drama.
The fact that you're like, you need to figure it out. This was OP trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't want to look bad up there and make you look bad, so replace me with someone that's going to fit. That's figuring it out.
That was... As luck would have it, a few days before the wedding, I got violently ill with the flu. Between the vomiting, sweating, every ounce of fluid in me, and lack of food, I had lost just enough weight to zip the dress up.
I mean...
Although it was so painfully tight, and I could hardly breathe. We had our hair professionally done, and Kay's mom kept making compliments about how I looked like a Greek goddess.
Oh.
I appreciated her being so nice, but still felt so ugly. The day went without a hitch. It was super warm, and the sky was the most beautiful blue with hardly any clouds. Kay looked like an absolute vision in her dress, which was the opposite of everything she said she wanted, and yet it was so perfect for her. She had the most gorgeous portraits taken with the groom, our families, and the bridal party. The reception was a sweaty blast. I thought all was well. I was so wrong.
No.
After a few weeks of very little contact, I reached out to get a key to their apartment so I care for their animals while they were on their honeymoon. I was a broke grad student with so much medical debt I couldn't afford a gift, so I thought to offer my services so they didn't have to pay someone. It's a great wedding gift.
Yeah.
After they got back, we still didn't talk very much until my dad passed away a little over a year later. Even then, it wasn't often, but I was happy with simply hearing from her. That summer, I was planning my own wedding with my then fiance, now ex, and asked her for advice. She was very brief about this topic and suddenly shifted gears to confront me about what had happened at her wedding.
Oh, what a good friend. Like, this is a perfect time to bring this up.
Yeah. She accused me of being jealous, that she didn't make me Maid of Honor, even though she said herself that if it weren't for Bay's jealousy, she would have asked me to be, and figured the safest bet was to ask her sister-in-law to avoid drama. She said I ruined her wedding, and all she can remember is the stress I had caused her with my selfishness and how it's tarnished any good memory she had of that day. I told her I was so sorry, and that none of what she was accusing me of was the case, but she wouldn't hear it. She told me she loved me like a sister, but wanted to 1-2 me in the face for doing this to her. Besides wishing each other happy holidays and happy birthdays, we didn't really talk after that. Since she's had a little girl during lockdown when I met my husband, which I didn't even find out she was pregnant until I thought to go on her Facebook page one day, I wasn't invited to the baby shower, which was not a surprise, but it still hurt. By the way, we'll never hurt you with full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have another episode. What are you thinking?
That's ridiculous. You didn't do anything wrong, OP. In fact, you tried everything in your own manner to literally be the best friend you could be and try to make her have the perfect day she wanted. And it was a perfect day.
Right, and nothing that it wasn't your fault in any way.
She's no longer your friend. There's no point of putting in the energy when you're getting negative energy back.
And you already haven't talked to her in forever. Like, we just gotta cut the unfortunate loss.
I don't know. Would I try and talk to her family? Because, like, the mom's known you forever, and the mom was being so generous, and, like, I don't know.
It's tough,
It's
too,
so
because-
tough. It's the same thing with the last story. It's like you just can't force anyone
Yeah.
to change their mind about you. It's just like if that's how they think, that's how they think, and let them be. I mean, I know friendships always diverge and they can always come back, but that comes naturally.
Because also, like, now you're having a conversation and Kay is turning it completely on OP. There's been no, like, I'm so sorry that you were going through that. I'm so sorry that we couldn't get your dress down in time. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry
and-
that we couldn't do blah, 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 blah.
All-
Like,
and
it
all she
wasn't-
did
or
was-
that we were mean to you.
All she did was bully you during
Yeah.
that. That's all she did.
Yeah.
The fact that she like isn't being accountable for I was mean to you. No,
Right.
you were just taking all those things, that all the stress that you had during your wedding, and put it on OP, and that's not fair to OP.
But we have an update.
Ugh.
Despite so many people warning me that she would do something to sabotage my wedding out of spite, I was still planning on asking her to be in our bridal party until she didn't wish me a happy birthday. It might sound petty or maybe even pathetic that I had the bar set for our friendship so low, but that was kind of the last straw for me. I didn't even invite her and her husband to be guests. That's how hurt I was and how stupid I felt for hanging on to a friendship years after it had already passed away. And because people said she may still try to pull some antics in revenge, I didn't tell her when I found out I was pregnant the way I had always dreamed of. We've never met each other's little ones and have only seen them grow up online. So here I am, heartbroken all these years later, still wondering if I'm the reason we aren't friends and if I'm really the a-hole for ruining her special day. Edit to add,
That's estimated.
I
timer
was
rifle.
diagnosed with an oscillating thyroid disease, which causes dramatic changes in my weight. While I'm managing, I still feel uncomfortable with my body, especially being 6 months postpartum.
Ugh.
That's tough. That's like,
No,
ugh.
OP, you did nothing wrong.
No, I
You-
just mean it's tough to
oh,
have gone through that.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
back to the am I the a-hole question.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You did nothing wrong. It's one of those things where again, it's a relationship, and it takes two people to make that relationship work. You are putting in so much more effort than she is that
so much.
it's no longer a relationship. It's just you. It sucks. And again, she did that to herself because for no reason. She just wanted to be like, you know what? She's trying to do this, do that, take over my wedding, yada yada yada, which we all know is not true.
Yeah.
It's just that's the picture that she painted of you, and you can't change that.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, you can give her all the facts, tell her outright, I'm so sorry if you thought that way. She only thinks about that, and she never communicated that until
No.
it's ridiculous.
It was crazy. And
It's
there
ridiculous.
Was, no apology offered back up to OP.
No,
it
of
was
course
just
not.
like, how dare, yeah,
She-
terrible.
there's
They're
not
not
to
your
be no
friends.
apology,
No,
which
there's not.
sucks. OP, just focus on your little one. Focus on living a
Yeah.
happy life. I know it sucks, and I know you dreamt of like, oh, we're gonna have our little ones together, but you know what? That is life sometimes, and relationships do end. Just build the ones that are around you and support you the most.
But your relationship with us never ends, everybody.
My sister-in-law dislikes me and I can't stand her.
Well,
Get rid of her.
tit for tat.
When my sister-in-law, female 29, married into the family, I, female 23, was really excited because I have no sisters and really wanted the cute BFF vibe that's romanticized in TV with her. So I was super nice to her. I would make every effort to strike up combos, do stuff together, get advice. She graduated as a doctor of dentistry from our home country before moving, so I'd bring my bio tests home from high school and ask her for help clarifying topics. I really looked up to her. I was about 16 at that point.
Yeah.
By the way, this comes from a throwaway 678905432 on the r/Charlotte Dover YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, she, on the other hand, was really distant. She wouldn't really be interested in holding a conversation for too long unless it came to explaining something related to her education. I thought maybe it was just because she was shy or not comfortable yet, so it made me want to try harder and welcome her. I distinctly remember celebrating her birthday with all the bells and whistles. I set it up all by myself.
Cute.
She loved it. Then when it came to my birthday, she didn't do anything.
Aw.
To be honest, I didn't really expect her to because I didn't do those things expecting anything in return. But not only did she not do anything, but when my dad bought my favorite cake for me, as I was cutting into it, she made a remark that just completely threw me off. She said, "Aren't you a little too old for all of this?" in a really judgmental tone while giving me the what the heck face. She has done the same thing on all my birthdays since, and now I just kind of expect it each year. It puts a damper on my happiness each year. I live with my parents because they are great and I like to. I will probably live with my parents till I get married and they're happy to have me. And I can't do anything about it because she lives with us too. It's a tradition thing, but she did have the choice to live separately when she got married. She chose to live together because she also lived jointly with extended family growing up, so it was more ideal to her. My brother supports his own family in all regards though, including rent. I didn't grow up that way. She has berated me multiple times about my preference of living separately from any of my future in-laws. Whenever I want to celebrate an achievement of mine, she will say, look how proud she is of herself. She's such a glutton and greedy.
What? Who is this lady? Who is this?
When she only talks about her own dentist career, like,
oh my
what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sounds like a nightmare.
I didn't really care when she would just say those things to me because I just zone it out. But now she has 2 kids under 6 and I love them to bits. And she says those things in front of them, sometimes even to them. The result is that sometimes her eldest now feels comfortable saying those things to me. Oh my gosh.
Ew.
She obviously doesn't know what she is saying, but also she doesn't know it's rude to say it.
The mom should be doing that.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
When the kid says those things about my sister-in-law is shocked and reprimands her. Recently, I left the house wearing my dad's old button-down. It's a nice baggy fit, and best of all, it's my dad's. My niece comes up to me and says, why are you wearing a boy's shirt? And I laugh and tell her, because I love my dad so much, just like you. She kind of just scrunches her nose. She goes to the kitchen and asks her mom again, and her mom tells her, yeah, what can I do? And she sighs, you should tell your aunt to stop wearing boys' clothes. Oh my
Maybe
God.
you should tell your mom to mind her own business.
Yeah, what? She also gets her kids involved in these petty social games a lot. The irony is my sister-in-law likes wearing my brother's clothes a lot too. Not that I think there's anything wrong with that, but it just doesn't sit right with her logic. Another instance is when I was in the living room one day. She called to me and said something. I didn't hear because she was kind of far away and it's a big house. I walked towards her to ask what she was saying, and she turns to her daughter and says, looks like I'm like pins and needles to your aunt these days, huh?
Dude. Oh my
What?
goodness.
She's like-
I feel like literally every time OP talks to her, she's like, oh my God, and she's saying this now.
Yeah,
Like,
what?
I wonder why she's saying all of that. Like, is there like some kind of jealousy going
Yeah.
on?
Dude.
Like, what?
Probably.
So weird.
I had a cat that I absolutely loved, and when he ran away, my sister-in-law's comforting words while I was bawling my eyes out looking for him nonstop, going nights without sleep, days without food, grieving, her words were, he was just a cat. He was going to pass away anyways. Get over it. This is so silly. That truly snapped any relationship I had with her, and since then, I've been super numb to her altogether. I don't tell her about the good things, the bad things, anything really, because I know she's not deserving of knowing what goes on in my life. And I'm done nurturing a relationship that she clearly doesn't want with me. I have never been cold to her children though, and still make time to do fun activities together.
But her children are also like turned against OP. Like
Yeah.
her children are like
That's so
making fun.
frustrating.
Turn them against me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have never really spoken about feelings, a sister with only brothers thing, so I don't go into stuff about sister-in-law with my brother. I also don't want to put him in a tight spot because I know he has his own issues. For example, the kids aren't super respectful of him, sometimes hitting him or calling him annoying, etc. And more so respect their mom the most out of everyone else.
That's
Why?
I wonder if the mom is like crap talking the
probably
like
The husband?
yeah.
I think, yeah.
I mean,
That
if
sounds-
she's this comfortable crap talking OP in front of her kids and in front
Yeah.
of OP,
Oh yeah.
then I bet she's doing it to the husband.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, she sounds just a very undelightful woman.
Yeah.
Did no one?
Oh my goodness. So I know he has his own issues with her, but he tries to make everything work for his family because despite how she is to my family, she is good to the kids. I don't believe that. Over the years, I've realized a sort of pattern. Everything that has to do with me irks sister-in-law deeply. She creates fuss over simple things if it's coming from me or my mom about me. She has no filter sometimes. Sorry. I like a movie. It's a stupid movie to her. I like a specific food. She'll say, yuck, what the heck do you eat all day? I could never. I get a new dress. She says, are you sure that's going to fit you? Because I don't think so. Wouldn't an extra large be better?
Oh my
Damn.
god.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Oh my god. Mind you, I am a true M. If I try to explain to her that I am a medium, she will say, Well, I'm a medium, and you're obviously way bigger than me. I have large front airbags, a butt, and am tall, so when I wear baggy clothes, my silhouette doesn't show. She even tries to repeatedly donate clothes that are too big on my brother, who is way bigger than me, to me, because they will fit just right. Oh my gosh. I don't know where all this toxicity is coming from. I can't remember doing anything bad to her. Fast forward to now. For a bit of context, my sister-in-law tried writing her dentistry licensing exam once she moved here 2 times, but she scored just under passing for both of them.
Get wrecked.
Your
Get
whole life is about
wrecked.
dentistry. You're not even good at it.
Yeah.
She then had kids and decided to stay at home full-time to care for them. We still give her the respect of being a doctor, though, because she's proud of it and is planning on writing her exams again. So whenever anyone had a question about anything health-related, she will try to answer it. I used to try because I also have a health-related degree, but she never liked that and would always try to one-up me, so to keep the peace, I just let her have her 5 minutes unless a question is specifically directed to me, which she also can't stand and always finds a way to butt in and correct me, which is usually just her misunderstanding what I'm saying, repeating the same thing I was saying, or correcting my simplified semantics. Anyway, I recently got into my dream medical school with a single-digit acceptance rate after years of
Whoa,
trying. Oh my
alright.
gosh. Wow. I actually kept the fact that I was applying this cycle a secret from friends and family because I hate seeing people disappointed. The day of my interview, no one knew except my mom, who caught me prepping for it one day. After it was done, my sister-in-law saw me taking my makeup off and asked me what I was doing. I told her nothing. She then keeps staring at me through my door. And while shaking her head slowly, she says, "No, don't lie to me. You had an interview today, didn't you?" I don't say anything because what the heck? I don't want to tell her. She keeps staring at my poker face and she walks away, says, "That's what I thought."
What are you talking
This
about?
woman is in 6th grade. Oh my
Literally,
goodness.
I'm telling my mom.
And what? She's 29.
Yeah.
29?
Oh my gosh. Well, yesterday I was picking up the dress I wanted to wear for my admission ceremony just to make sure that the entire fit was working together. While sister-in-law was doing some laundry, she sees me in the dress and asks me about when my white coat ceremony is and what it'll consist of. My mom is also present, so she responds that it won't be a white coat ceremony, but a ceremony with another medical symbol. For context, my school believes the white coat can be a symbol of elitism that separates patients from doctors. I love the reasoning, to be honest, and so does my mom. So my mom was really excitedly explaining this to my sister-in-law. Right then, my sister-in-law turns the top part of her body around, eyes wide open, lips pursed, and says really loudly, as if trying to prevent anyone from being able to speak at the same time, wait, what? They think that that's elitism? No, that's so stupid. It makes no sense. A doctor is better than the patient. They can't even wear a white coat to differentiate themselves. People are so sensitive these days. She went on mumbling about how stupid the whole thing was for a few minutes, but that by that point, my jaw was on the floor. I had no idea my mom's passing excitement would trigger such a big reaction from her. This is not the first time this has happened. Respect for elders is extremely valued in our culture. I couldn't even look my mom in the eyes if I said something like that to her face. And kids are usually more unforgiving. I just can't fathom when she lashes out like that at my parents. Side note, she has a very strong idea about how mothers and old women should be. She has on multiple occasions berated my working mom about her preference to work after having kids. Girl, the only reason you're not working is you failed your freaking medical exam. That's crazy. That's crazy. The sister-in-law would talk about how she should stay home because that's a woman's place.
Oh.
Wait, but didn't you like pursue a career
Yeah.
in dentistry?
Yeah, if that's your place,
about
then
dentistry.
stop talking about being a doctor then.
Well,
You don't
maybe
want to be
she
a doctor.
doesn't think she can become a doctor anymore. Maybe
Yeah,
she's
she's
giving
like,
up.
well, I failed,
Yeah.
so that's because
Yeah.
I'm a woman.
Definitely sounds like she did. I truly hold women who find happiness in being home full-time in very high esteem, but I know my mom also loves her job, so it just burns me up to see my sister-in-law putting her down like that. She also tells my mom that she shouldn't wear flashy colors or dye her hair because that's not how you age elegantly. Yeah, that's stupid. My mom just dyed her hair purple yesterday.
Heck
so.
yeah.
Bro, I wonder where
Shout
she got
out.
that idea.
Also, like,
I did help her. Meanwhile, she is also a mom and yet she still wears flashy colors, all the flashy jewelry and makeup in the world, dyes her hair, and has big dreams for her career.
It's just that I can do it and you can't.
Yeah,
You can't do that. I can only do it.
Dude. I'm also the type to not say too much in the moment because I don't want to risk being disrespectful and regretting it later. I usually overlook and forgive to smooth things over, especially with my sister-in-law because I just know there is no winning with her because she can argue for days just to make herself feel good. However, that approach was also not getting her to clock how disrespectful she can be, though. So I got fed up and said, "Whoa, I'm sorry we told you that. I didn't know you would get this upset. If you'd like, I can send you the link to the school website that explains why white coats are not worn, and maybe you can email the school about your grievances if you feel that deeply about it."
Oh,
Here we go.
Send an email.
Yeah, go send a
nerd.
strongly worded email.
She responded, "Haha, don't try to run away from the argument so quickly."
What argument?
And in my head, I'm wondering, what argument? Like, my mom was just sharing a simple fact. We were happy. It was a wholesome moment. Who intended to start an argument? And I know that you guys should intend to look at more full stories with episodes just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. We've got more to this story, but this woman.
And it sucks because OP can't even get away because they all live together.
Yeah.
I also wonder why the parents are like, standing by and being like, I guess all of this verbal abuse is okay. Like,
I know.
Like, I would kick this girl out.
At this point, my mom intervened, and sister-in-law was going at my mom, and to be honest, my head started to hurt. I just wanted to break it up. So I pulled out my phone, read the explanation of why white coats are not used as symbolism, and sister-in-law went silent. Then went to her room and slammed the door shut. At least there was peace now. I feel dumb even explaining this whole argument to you guys because what the heck? Is this even real? Are we actually adults? Honestly, I'm so exhausted. I hate having to think about how sad she makes me for prolonged periods of time. It ruins my entire day. I also don't have the social politics skills to verbally slap someone in the face with sweet words.
Aww.
I hate that my niece and nephew might grow up believing that I have bad intentions towards them because of the way that my sister-in-law speaks about me to them. I don't know what to do. My brother recently got a job in another state, so he's moving his family there in a few months. He is pretty hesitant about leaving my parents, though, because my sister-in-law is a bit dependent on us for childcare and is sometimes absent-minded. So they might come back permanently. Any advice? And that's the end of that story.
Change the locks, kick her out.
Yeah.
Kick her out.
Also, maybe, I mean,
your
like,
mom.
Definitely talk to your parents, talk to your mom. Can you talk to your brother?
Yeah, hopefully.
I think there's been no communication from OP to everyone else in this story about how terrible she is.
Yeah.
Right. She did mention something about talking to the brother, but kind of like that she didn't want to talk. Like they don't talk about feelings very much or something.
Yeah, but
it's like,
I
oh
remember
no, they
exactly.
don't really talk about that.
Yeah.
I feel like they gotta though.
They really do.
If you want something to change, right? Like if you want to keep posting to Reddit and then don't talk to anyone. But if you want this to be solved, I feel talk to your parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to your brother.
Don't talk to her.
Worst case, maybe this is an indicator that you should try moving out if it's such a toxic living situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly.
I am going to a destination wedding with a friend. My girlfriend is now having doubts.
Ay, caramba!
My girlfriend, 22 female, and I, 23 male, have been dating for about 8 months. Around 4 months before I met her, my sister announced she is having a destination wedding. Being that I was single, I asked my friend, 22 female, if she wanted to go with me. There has never been anything romantic between us, and that is one of the things we value about our friendship. By the way, this comes from Verticon123. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I promised her that even if I got into a relationship, we would still go because I think it would be crappy of me to take that away from a long-standing friend and give it to a relatively newer girlfriend. After a few months, we both ended up in happy and supportive relationships. As it turns out, my friend and girlfriend went to the same high school together, but did not interact as much as they were very different people back then. To give some perspective on the girlfriend, she's someone who goes far out of her way to accommodate others and make people feel comfortable, putting her own happiness second to those around her. We are both great communicators and are always able to talk through our problems. I brought up the destination wedding trip and details early on in the relationship so it wouldn't be a surprise. and it didn't seem to really be an issue initially. Over time, her friends, who I believe were looking out for her, expressed concern that I was going to a romantic destination wedding with someone that is not her, and they think it's inappropriate. Then she met my family. They brought up the wedding on multiple separate occasions, forgetting that she was not going. And when we reminded them of this, she was met with, "Oh, we wish you were going." Reasonably, these things got to her and built up to her being adamantly against the concept of the trip. By this, I mean that she never asked me not to go, and she never asked me to let her go instead of my friend. But she said that she does not want contact with me while I'm gone and does not want to hear about the trip. She has stated that when I return, if she can forget it ever happened and move on, then we will be fine. But if she can't get past it, then our relationship is likely over. I feel like I'm doing the right thing by keeping my promise, but she feels like the right thing would have been for me to realize months ago that this is inappropriate and to take her instead, even though she did not ask me to do that. Am I the a-hole? Edit, there is no time to change plans. The flight is tomorrow morning, and there are no more rooms in the resort. Girlfriend has no passport, so this is impossible at this point. Okay, well.
Yeah, so they both suck.
Yeah, comment the 805 daddy, everyone's the a-hole here. She should have been a bit better at communicating this discomfort in the situation, but you also should read between the lines a little. I get that she's just a friend, but hear me out. Let's say your girlfriend's position and she was going to a romantic destination wedding with someone you went to high school with, even though you're dating now. I understand why you're thinking you're not the a-hole because it's specifically platonic. I found myself in a similar situation being questioned about my intent on a trip with a platonic friend. But when I took a step back after the trip, I understood why my girlfriend was so uncomfortable with it. You could probably rub 2 brain cells to figure out why she's being made uncomfortable, but she could probably have done a better job communicating her issues ahead of time. OP says, I actually was in a similar situation early on in the relationship. She went on a cruise with her ex because it was planned before they broke up. It was also a graduation gift from his parents to them, so she had to go and couldn't ask him to bring someone else. I was pretty uncomfortable with it at the time and tried to see if she could get out of it. Overall, I think she handled the situation more reasonably than I handled hers. What? This is a double dipping situation? Dude, yes. Yes.
I got nothing else to say.
Which one's worse? Which one's worse? A cruise going on with your ex and like having to watch your girlfriend do it, or you're going on a destination wedding with your family. I feel like the cruise is worse because the family, everyone's watching it, and it's like, hey, why don't cheat? But on a cruise,
more thoughts downloading. But yeah, that giving the rationale behind it, where it's like, oh well, it was a gift and we planned it and it was bought for us by his parents, so we can't back out. It's like not true. There is no vampiric, legally binding Count Orlok contract stating you have to get on the boat, or like the Black Plague will come to you. That's not how that works. You can just not go because it's your ex-boyfriend now. What?
Okay, the girlfriend is so much worse. Do not go on the trip with an ex.
Yeah.
Christy. Commented back. This is good to go to. I don't know, dude. She went on a cruise with her ex. I would have cut it off there. They were already broken up, and she couldn't make him take someone else. Why? I'm just going to keep it 1,000% with you, my guy. They used to date, and something tells me they didn't trade shifts between the floor, sleeping on the floor. To me, that is way more disrespectful than going on the wedding. So you should take your friend, and when you come back, break up with your girl. Opie says they didn't end up on bad terms. It was pretty early in the relationship. If you can't trust your partner, why be with them? BB Ux says, I'd say you're the a-hole. It was unreasonable of you to make such a promise to your friend. You were only considering 2 people's feelings, but now your girlfriend exists and is a real person with real emotions. It sounds like your family wants your girlfriend to come and not your friend. If this includes your sister, then you should concede seeing her as it's her wedding. It is strange that your friend hasn't given up on the spot out of politeness, seeing as you're now in a serious relationship. I can't imagine not doing that, even though you promised it to her. Your girlfriend has already expressed her discomfort with the situation, and it's not unreasonable. Why ignore her? Why does it matter that she appeared to not care earlier? The wedding hasn't begun yet. Edit. Also, it will be incredibly awkward as people will assume your friend is your girlfriend, and then you will have to explain that you have a different girlfriend and you didn't bring her for a silly reason. It's just a kind of humiliating for your girlfriend. This was also her opportunity to get to know your extended family as your partner. I think you've dropped the ball here. Yeah.
Sure, that would be the case if she was ready and waiting and had all this stuff lined up and had expressed that she wanted to go. And then he said, well, I made that promise to this other girl I'm not dating.
Yeah.
Who's not you. And I like you, but I don't like you enough to bring you to the vacation destination wedding.
His current girlfriend did
Yes.
that? Okay, because
The take me to the... And Ming Ming had a comment in here where it's like, yeah, the reason she's this upset about this while also having no passport is because she knows what she did on the cruise. So now she's like, oh, he's going to go do that at the wedding.
We got an update 6 days later. For those of you saying you probably won't have a girlfriend when you get back and waiting for the edit saying your girlfriend broke up with you, prepare to be disappointed. The wedding was a lot of fun, and we talked every day. She had a good weekend visiting a sibling, and we hung out when I got back. She made me brownies, and I gave her some rum cakes from the trip, and we all caught up and joked around. We are already planning a getaway trip for her birthday with just the two of us, so things are really looking up. Every relationship has bumps and mistakes. Not everything has to be a deal breaker, but you know what's the biggest deal breaker? It's when you listen to a story and you don't go to your favorite podcast platform and search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify and listen to more stories just like this.
True.
That's a deal breaker for us. You
Deal
have to do
breaker.
it. We have a second update 6 years later.
Yeah, thank God.
What?
That has to be a breakup.
That's wild. Sorry. I love it when they go deep later on. But I think the girlfriend looked at it. We're even now. I went on that cruise. You did a little destination wedding with your friend. We're even.
Nah. It's crazy. I mean, I know you're just messing around. But there's no room for messing around in this. It's insane to me that this guy is willing to look past that.
Well,
I mean,
hey, if you can't trust your partner in a relationship, why have one? Well, I'm going to need a passport for this update that happened 6 years later because mine has expired. 6 years later. Question. What is the smallest amount of money that you would be life-changing for you at this moment? Opie says $3,000. I'm saving up to take my girlfriend of 4 years to Amsterdam so she can fulfill her dream of seeing Van Gogh Museum. What she didn't know is I'm going to propose there soon. I'm very worried my job is going to lay off a lot of employees, and I think I'll be on that train if it departs. I'm unsure if I can afford it this summer. So what he was probably, dude, fantastic job, Lana, because she went and she looked at their profile and found him commenting on other subreddits. So this is what he found. We have an update, 1st of July. I am in Paris for a few days after getting engaged in Amsterdam. Planned this trip half a year ago, and we're just staying in a hotel. I'm almost passed out in the line of the Muse aux Arrêts this morning, and I think I saw that. And editor's note, relationship length of 4 years suggests that this is not the original girlfriend.
So basically, thank you, Lana, because it's always the worst when we're like, oh my God, and they just stayed together. So what that was evidence that these two broke up. Because I was about to
He said 6 years later.
So it's like, this is just
okay.
6 years later.
Okay.
This is probably somebody else that he's now getting engaged to, because based on the length of their relationship,
then it would have been.
They would have been together a lot longer.
My
if
girlfriend
he
of
was getting married
7 years is what he would have said. Yeah.
My friend lied to me about her wedding. Now I'm finally done.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I, 29 female, have been friends with Bailey, 29 female, since we met at our college job in 2016. Over the past 9 years, I've watched Bailey kiss a lot of frogs. Ain't that the truth, sister?
That's such a good way to put it.
In 2023, she met Nathan, 31 male, who immediately seemed different. After dating for around a year and a half, Bailey and Nathan announced their plans to get married. I was supportive, as I've spent a lot of time with Nathan and think he's a great guy who treats Bailey well. By the way, this comes from Rather Glad, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, since the first year of our friendship, Bailey has called me her best friend and talked about me being the maid of honor in her wedding, even though she has a sister and is still in touch with her childhood best friend. I am fairly indifferent about being a maid of honor and never asked her or told her this was important to me, so she wasn't saying it to shut me up because she thought I needed to hear it, etc. In fact, I remember being taken aback at first. Over the past few years, Bailey has met and gotten close with several other girls, in particular Kay, who I think is really Bailey's closest friend. For some reason, Even after meeting other girls and becoming closer with them, in my opinion, which is normal, she has continued to insist that I am her best friend and will be her maid of honor. I moved across the country for work in 2022, and while Bailey remained in our home state on the East Coast, we live in the US. I visit home multiple times per year. Last summer, I went on a trip with Bailey, Nathan, and Bailey's cousin, Mila, 22 female, who Bailey has only become close with in the last 2 years. This is when Bailey and Nathan told us their plans to get married. At the time of the trip, Nathan already had Bailey's engagement ring, which she had selected and ordered for herself and had delivered to Nathan's parents' house. Nathan wanted to propose on the trip, but Bailey told him not to. Ultimately, Bailey ended up planning her own proposal with the help of her cousin, Mila, and her friend, who is a photographer. Bailey called me multiple times per week for hours at a time, so I stayed updated on the proposal planning. I once sat in my car until I was late for work meeting because Bailey called me anxious about the proposal. I remember thinking at the time that I would probably have been a more active participant in the planning if I hadn't made the choice to move so far away, which made me a bit sad. As the plans for the proposal materialized, it became clear that there would be an engagement celebration right after, and that most of Bailey's girlfriends, her cousin, and Nathan's family would be in attendance. At this point, I expressed to Bailey that I wanted to buy a plane ticket so that I could attend the engagement celebration, but she told me not to and became vague about the final date and location of the engagement. A week before the planned proposal in October 2024, Bailey called to let me know that she and Nathan had gotten married in the courthouse, but swore me to secrecy. What?
But, like, I thought I was your best friend.
Yeah, like this is the person who's supposedly going to be your maid of honor, and you didn't even tell her that you were getting married?
Right.
The engagement celebration proceeded with Bailey's other girlfriends having no knowledge that she was in fact already married. After the proposal, Bailey called to tell me that she was engaged and to ask me to be a bridesmaid in her official wedding ceremony in April of 2026. She was very matter-of-fact, explaining that she had chosen her cousin Mila as the maid of honor because of her experience in event planning, which is also the field I work in. Liar! Liar!
Just tell me why. Just tell me why you don't like it.
Just be straight up.
Be honest. It's
Just
making it
stop
so much worse.
lying.
Yeah, like if you just don't want me there, just say it.
Just say it now.
Stop dragging me along.
Even though Bailey had selected an official date at the end of April for the wedding, she was still choosing between a number of dates between March and April for her bridal shower and bachelorette. One day, she was considering a music festival, the next, a winery. When I was asked to be in a family member's wedding in early April, I checked in with Bailey so that I could prioritize her bachelorette and bridal shower before answering my family member. Bailey responded that she didn't expect me to attend the bachelorette and bridal shower. This was also in a matter-of-fact, oh, no worries kind of tone, not like a vindictive, well, if your relative matters more to you, then just F me, I guess. I was taken aback and expressed to Bailey that I wanted to attend her bachelorette and bridal shower and would do whatever it takes to be there. She said she would get back to me. In February 2025, Bailey sent invitations via group text to her dress fitting, which is taking place this upcoming weekend in July. I immediately bought my plane ticket. A month or two later, Bailey called me and said that she was canceling her wedding and instead planned to elope. What? You're already married. You don't need to elope.
You already eloped.
That you already did it.
You're not planning to elope.
You did that. You did that part. Good thing I hadn't bought my dress, which Bailey had already picked for me, or plane ticket for April.
Gosh.
The good news was that the dress fitting weekend was still on, with Bailey ordering 4 dresses from a website, think Amazon or Shein.
Yikes.
Yikes.
For
to try at her house before we got pedicures as a group. Earlier this month, July 2025, I got a random text from Bailey in the middle of the day that said, elopement in the Pacific Northwest, July 2026. No specific date, location, or plan for how the bridesmaids factor in, if at all. The next day on the phone, Bailey explained that her new plan was to drive to and from a national park in the Pacific Northwest from the East Coast, camping in the trunk of her car with Nathan. Bridesmaids will stay in a cabin. She hasn't looked at cabins yet, but is certain they'll have bunk beds. Then drive into the national park to watch Bailey and Nathan exchange vows and take photos. Bailey explained her hesitation about telling the other bridesmaids about the change in plans, as the new date excludes at least 2 would-be bridesmaids. She then told me that I'll be expected to rent an SUV to drive myself and others into the national park. I own an SUV but don't live in driving distance from the Pacific Northwest and would need to fly. I honestly didn't say anything because at this point, I'm not convinced her plans won't change several more times in the next year. I honestly would be like, sorry, I can't make it. It's just like, I haven't told you yet.
Yeah.
She just wants you
can't
there
make
to
it.
use you.
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
This is too much.
Yeah, and deciding for you that you're gonna be a chauffeur for everyone else,
no.
like that's not how it works. You talk to them and ask like, hey, like maybe we can figure this out. Would you be able to do this?
Yeah.
Not like, okay, so you're gonna drive these people. You're gonna rent out an SUV even though you have one, and then you're gonna drive everyone up there. Okay, thanks. See you there.
No, I honestly think you just have to sit her down and be like, hey, feels like you don't have the plans really set in stone.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more time, a little bit more heads up.
Right. Like I can't keep
Can't do that.
switching it up like you can.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, 1 week shy of the first get-together of all the bridesmaids. I know that Bailey is already legally married and no longer planning the April 2026 wedding we were originally invited to. Some of the other girls know of only one or neither of these developments. Bailey says she plans to update everyone when we are together next weekend. She texts the group chat to confirm plans. Suddenly, several people can't get off work, including the Maid of Honor, 22-year-old cousin. Others are asking what the plans are. Besides looking at dress options, are we going out to eat? Going to the lake? Should I ask off work for Sunday or just Saturday? Should I make brunch plans or hold off? Bailey calls me frustrated. First of all, her Maid of Honor is flaking. Secondly, she hasn't yet ordered her dresses online, and now it's too late. She'll have to FaceTime us at a later date when they arrive. And finally, she doesn't want to make plans for most of the weekend as it's too much overhead. As an event planner, LOL, I point out that a lot of friends are taking time off work and or are driving into town. I'm the only one flying in, and they want to celebrate her. They may benefit from some structure to help them plan. I remind her that she mentioned going to the lake on Sunday. She says she does want to take her friend's boat out on the lake. Friend is not invited to the wedding or elopement, or maybe go to her other friend's pool. That friend is also not in the wedding or elopement party. But she doesn't care who comes, so she'll just figure out where she's going and then tell everyone they can tag along if they want. These are people who flew and drove in to see her. I tell her that it's really important to me to plan my weekend around her events since I'm coming into town for her special bridal dress weekend. She says she doesn't care if I come to the pool, lake, or wherever she's going, and not to plan my trip around it because it might be too inconvenient for me to find a ride there. Both are right by her house, where I was supposed to be staying. Until she told me that, I can no longer sleep at her house because I might be allergic to her cat. I have a cat. And also because she promised her other friend that she can stay there and is now overbooked. Eventually, I tell her I can only speak for myself, but I find it a bit of a morale unaliver to be constantly told, oh, I don't care if you come or not, or you don't need to be there. And I'm guessing her other bridesmaids might feel the same. Bailey gets defensive, saying she's being a people pleaser and simply doesn't want to burden her friends. I try to appeal to that experience, which I share, but things just aren't adding up. Bailey and I have been friends for 9 years. Between us, that's 18 birthdays. Every year, I invite her to celebrate my birthday. Sometimes I do a dinner with friends. Sometimes it's a trip with a smaller group. After celebrating my birthday in the first year of our friendship, my 21st, which was a bar crawl, she never celebrated with me ever again. Every year, I asked her what she's doing for her birthday, asked to come along on her birthday trip, or offer to fly to her for her birthday, but she always says no. This included last year when she used benefits I shared with her to book a hotel with my company. I ended up being invited at the last minute when her other friends canceled, likely because I get free hotel stays from my company. We had fun together though, so afterward I asked if I could come with her group to a concert she was flying to, which is in driving distance of me. She said no. Instead, she promised to drive to my location after the concerts and spend a week together. But she canceled. I have visited her around 10 times since moving away, but she has never visited me, though I usually see other friends and family in my hometown when I visit. At different points in life, one or the other of us might have been better off financially. At this point, Bailey is definitely more financially stable than I am and regularly takes trips with other friends such as Kay. When I invite her to free or discounted trips sponsored by my company, she has never gone. Though sometimes she will tell me she'll go, then cancel last minute. This is just a theme for Bailey.
I just
Yeah.
hope in reading or writing this out, you see how one-sided this relationship is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
Bailey keeps bailing
Bailing.
on the plans.
So true.
I'll be here all week.
Every year I make a birthday post for her on Instagram. She makes posts for all her other friends, including girls I've never even heard of. I've met all of her friends, and she tells me about a lot of people. She has also never posted a picture with me, but calls me her best friend. I feel like she doesn't actually have any real friends. And so she expects you to be that, even though she's not actually putting any effort. Go ahead, call me an idiot and a doormat. I was. That's
Sure.
the old me. And this friendship is a relic of my old life. I've recently gone through a lot of changes. I just finished my Saturn return, haha, and left my former career in addition to several toxic relationships. This is the kind of relationship that seemed normal to me in my early years. I went to a lot of therapy, and it feels like finally getting prescription eyeglasses and putting them on after needing them for my whole life. I care about Bailey, but if I met her today, I don't think we'd be friends. Probably not. In hindsight, I don't know if we ever were. Bailey and Nathan have used me as a witness in Nathan's case for permanent residency. Yep. And I recently had to write and swear an affidavit attesting to my friendship with Bailey and her relationship with Nathan. I wrote this beautiful story of our friendship and how it made me a better person. I made myself cry writing it. Bailey read it and had basically no reaction. I realized that my version of the friendship wasn't both of our reality. Unsurprisingly, today's phone call spiraled into an hour-long argument where alternative histories emerged. That she didn't know she was being proposed to or that Nathan had a ring. She planned it, though.
Yeah, what?
That I never invited her to plans. I remembered her canceling. That she suddenly forgets every conversation we've ever had, including very recent ones with text receipts. She told me that for our whole friendship, she assumed I didn't like trips. I work for a travel company, have a travel-themed Instagram, constantly travel, and invite her on trips. But okay. When corrected, she said she just didn't want to inconvenience me. For example, she told me she thought I'd be too tired for a trip to Europe. Though she has taken multiple trips to Europe with Kay and other friends. She even started to blame Nathan for her poor treatment of me, insisting that she was doing me a favor by not inviting me to her engagement because he would have stressed me out. I've traveled well with Nathan before, and he's extremely calm and go with the flow. She's such a liar.
Yeah, she's just making stuff up.
She was grasping at straws, anything to avoid apologizing or at least admitting she saw my perspective. I told her it's fine with me if she doesn't have fun traveling with me, but I'm asking her to be honest with me instead of beating around the bush. She insisted she's just been trying to watch out for me and do me a favor by leaving me out of plans she thought I wouldn't like. I eventually gave up and told her I'm really happy for her and Nathan and just wanted to say my piece so it didn't affect the wedding. Then hung up because I had to go to work. Time zone difference. While I was at work, she texted me links to random TikToks like nothing had happened. I'm now realizing that it may be best for me to withdraw from Bailey's wedding, if there even is a wedding, and all associated festivities. Would I be the a-hole? And you can join the festivities by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
There is a little bit left to the story. Do you have any final thoughts for OP?
Yeah, you would definitely not be the a-hole.
No.
No, I mean, if you have noticed with so many examples of how she just doesn't care about you. She
Nope.
she just wants you to be there for her, and like she's just not a good friend. Even with her not planning things and just expecting everyone to just change their plans all the time, because she does that all the time. Like, that's still rude to do to your friend. And then she doesn't seem like she's cares at all about your friendship or about your feelings. Like,
some other context. Bailey has more friends than me, though I do have a few close friends in addition to Bailey, and is more extroverted, but has more social problems. She has been fired from multiple jobs and was punted out of her sorority, but will never explain and genuinely doesn't seem to understand why. We met at 20 and are now 29. I hoped we would see eye to eye as we got older, but in many ways her understanding of the world seems to have changed very little since age 20. Bailey used to come to me for advice like I was a big sister. but over the past year has started to correct everything I do.
You.
Example, I got Invisalign and she told me I was wearing the wrong rubber bands because they're not the kind her orthodontist gave her in 7th grade. Bailey calls me multiple times per week. She usually initiates our contact, sometimes every day. We talk for hours and the conversation is usually more focused around her life. I recently lost 50 pounds and gained a lot of confidence through therapy in addition to the aesthetic changes from weight loss and Invisalign. She mentioned wanting to get Invisalign and lose weight as well, but hasn't yet. She also explicitly told me that the bridesmaid dress she chose for me was selected so that I wouldn't outshine her. I'm not known to dress flashy. I'm not sure if we're wearing bridesmaid dresses anymore. And that, folks, is the end of that story. Don't wear the bridesmaid dress. Don't even be there.
Yeah, you won't be wearing a bridesmaid dress
because you won't be at the wedding.
Exactly. So, yikes.
My fiance told my son his mom cheated just to get back at me.
Don't do that.
This does have a trigger warning for emotional abuse, so just be gentle with yourselves. I, male 40, have been with my fiance Sarah, female 42, for almost 5 years. We dated in 2008, but being young and her being a mom, I panicked and ended things. By the way, this does come from user particularfig4038, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
We try our best to give good advice goofily here, but we haven't experienced most of these situations ourselves, so if you have, let us know your take in the comments. OP says, we've had our ups and downs, mostly due to my lack of understanding around boundaries on social media. Since receiving an ADHD diagnosis, I've been medicated and stopped impulsively liking posts, which was attention-seeking linked to childhood trauma. I've been getting counseling for this since the start of this year. Having ADHD doesn't make what I did acceptable. Between 2021 and 2023, there were several incidents. Sarah found out I'd liked posts from women I knew, which I honestly didn't remember doing. We had a month apart in 2022 when this kept being brought up. During reconciliation, Sarah went through my phone and saw me reactively telling mates I was going to meet a girl for a hookup, though I never followed through. In 2023, I had inappropriate conversations with an old female friend about past experiences. I accept these were wrong, apologized, and tried rebuilding trust. In August 2024, we split 10 days before my son and I were supposed to go on holiday with her and her daughter. I was fed up of being constantly blamed for everything wrong with our relationship and her trust issues. She begged me to come back when she returned and said we could work on it together. That never happened. Shortly after her birthday in the fall, she started bringing everything up again. In February of 2025, I ended up in ITU on life support for 2 to 3 weeks after a brain infection.
Oh, wow.
I lost all memory from December onwards and still don't recall Christmas or large chunks from mid-November until I came out of a coma in March.
Oh, wow.
Good heavens. When I woke, I was greeted with questions. Who is X and who did you buy flowers for? You were seen with flowers. The neurologist told my fiance that I may never recall these memories due to damage sustained while ill. To this day, I have absolutely no idea what she's talking about. I checked my bank statements and nothing was withdrawn on those days. Shortly after my discharge, we booked our wedding and I was diagnosed with ADHD. I decided to start counseling as I felt guilty for the pain my actions apparently caused, even though I still don't remember them. Again, everything was brought up continuously. This pattern repeated with holidays. In 2024, arguments about me being a cheat escalated before a planned trip to Rhodes, and Sarah ended up swapping me and my son for her other 2 daughters. Leading up to our 2025 holiday, there was friction when her middle daughter changed her mind last minute, and Sarah suggested future holidays without my son, which I refused. On our 2025 holiday, tension started immediately. I apologized for getting frustrated when suggesting sunbeds with shade after her daughter got sunburned. The breaking point came on day 3. I received a call that a close family member had passed away and asked Sarah to watch my son whilst I composed myself. She refused, saying she wasn't babysitting. Throughout recent months, Sarah's been pressuring me to tell my son why his mom and I aren't together, as he feels out of place with a different surname. I've refused because I let go of that resentment for his benefit years ago. After I took a call from my cousin, Sarah told me my son had complained about being bossed around by his siblings and called her daughter annoying. Sarah claimed he doesn't listen to her because he wants his parents back together.
I'm gonna be so real. I would never want to be like, OP, are you telling us everything?
Someone did say earlier, unreliable narrator.
I'm a little bit on the like, are we getting everything? Were you truly only talking to these women when you were broken up? you really can't find
We don't know. He
anything of
just
a
said that there were
flower?
incidents. Like
Right.
he was like,
But
there
then
were
he also
incidents
said
during
that
this
he
thing,
had to-
and then they were broken up for a little bit in 2022.
Because he also said that he did have to apologize and try to regain trust. And I feel like we didn't get the full extent of what needed to regain trust from.
Okay. When we went to get ready for dinner, Sarah and her daughter disappeared for 45 minutes. I found my son distressed, calling through the door of an empty room. We eventually found them leaving the restaurant, having eaten without us despite Sarah claiming she'd look for us. The next morning brought more accusations about putting my son at risk. I said I didn't have emotional capacity for the drama and suggested spending the day apart. Sarah responded that bringing the kids together was a mistake and next year she can't not take her daughter. That evening, I offered an olive branch, texting about going shopping in town together. Silence. When we returned, they'd locked themselves in the main bedroom and moved all my belongings to the smaller twin room with my son. The complimentary toiletries were gone, and the professional photos I'd paid for were on the floor, with her daughter's pictures removed. When I challenged this behavior, her 15-year-old daughter stormed in and threw money at me. I told her not to get involved in adult conversations. That night, my son and I ate alone, then walked to play chess. On our way to the beach bar afterwards, I saw Sarah in a group of 6 people with a man's arm resting on her chair back. Not wanting my son involved in a confrontation, I messaged asking about it. Sarah's response was defensive, wild imagination. That's in your head. I replied that roles reversed, she'd be furious, and asked if I'd misread the situation. Her dismissive attitude and hypocrisy were clear, especially given her constant accusations about my past behavior.
There is no trust in this relationship.
Yeah.
Why did you guys get back together? Why did you guys get married?
On the penultimate night, I offered dinner together but was ignored. As I sat on our balcony later, I watched Sarah and her new group get into a minibus and leave. 20 minutes later, my phone pinged with a family location alert asking if Sarah's iPhone was lost as it was at a restaurant in town. I removed myself from the location sharing and messaged about her disrespectful behavior. I also discovered she'd rummaged through my belongings and taken items. She returned near midnight. When I confronted her about taking my things, she claimed they weren't mine because she'd bought them. The argument that followed was explosive. My son retreated to the balcony as I called her behavior disrespectful and mentioned her hypocrisy about the man's arm on her chair. She snapped. It was there for a moment. I don't have to explain it to you. You're a cheat. Her daughter joined in, shouting that I wasn't her dad. I responded directly. I'd never tried to be her dad. He was at home with his new girlfriend, and it wasn't my fault they don't see him. Then...
Oh, you're saying that back to a kid, though.
I know.
They're a kid. Let's not yell at the kids back, and let's just, be like, dude, you're a kid. We're
And,
not gonna
the
have
way
this
that, she's
conversation."
treating his son, too. I
Yeah.
just feel bad.
Icky.
Then, reacting to something Sarah said, I added, "Don't worry, looks like it won't be long before your mom replaces me with someone else." Sarah then committed the unforgivable act. She turned to my 12-year-old son. "You want to know why your mom and dad broke up? Ask her about how she was a slag and cheated on your dad." That's crazy. She got in my face, and we both made vicious comments about each other's insecurities. I told her what she does is toxic and harmful, using whatever I've done wrong as a weapon in every argument. I also brought up how she weaponizes the girl's dad against them when arguing. Don't be a witch to me because your dad isn't putting you first. Oh my gosh. So, the wife is saying this to her
so
daughter,
doing this
too.
a lot.
When the dust settled, I apologized to her daughter privately. Good. Acknowledging my part in the argument and the wrong things I said. She responded with cherry-picked insults, but I didn't want to escalate further and said I regretted what happened. The next day, when I asked if they were okay and wished I could turn back time, she called me vile and harmful. Later, at the water park, her group appeared and one man kept staring intently. When my son and I went to the racing slides, passing their group, the same man continued staring. After coming down the slide, I stopped, told my son to go to the sunbed, and asked the man if he knew me and why he was staring. I suggested he mind his business or we could take it round the corner.
Okay.
This is a reminder that you can listen to stories in full episodes at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app by searching OK Storytime. That you know,
It's true, you can.
it's true you can. There's another relevant update.
Oh, great. At this point, this sounds awful for both of you guys, for all of your kids. Wow. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. We avoided each other until departure. Mysteriously, my razor that had been in my wash bag and packed in my case somehow ended up in my hand luggage, medicine bag, causing airport security to search and question me before destroying it. Since returning, I've been trying to retrieve my belongings whilst discovering she's been telling everyone I was aggressive and harmful from the start, claiming she did nothing wrong. I'm not innocent in the arguments and regret what happened, but she's painting it as completely one-sided. I will not let her around my son alone. My issue is that believing you have an excuse for poor behavior doesn't make it okay.
Sounds like you both kind of have some excuses for poor behavior, and neither of you should think it's okay.
That was the story, Carly. I don't have any more updates for you. Man.
Okay. My fiance refused to have intimacy with me after she got what she wanted.
We know it wasn't the D.
I'm male 25, have been with my fiance, female 26, for 3 years. She wanted a baby after 2 to 3 years of dating. I wanted to wait until after marriage and buying a house. But after a while, I gave in and she got her contraception removed. By the way, this comes from Cottage Pie and Gravy, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And OP says, as soon as she got the contraception out, she wanted to have spicy sleep every single day. She was flirty, attentive, and loving. And naturally, I enjoyed the attention and the lovemaking. After a few months, she got a positive pregnancy test. And I was happy that she was happy, and we were building a family. But I noticed as soon as we got a positive result, she stopped being loving. She didn't really touch me. After a few months, we hadn't had spicy sleep since the positive test. I took it down as hormones and didn't want to push her. I know some women don't like being touched when pregnant, and her being comfortable was my main priority. We had a baby boy 9 months ago, and after all this time, she still won't touch me. She doesn't kiss me. And we definitely haven't made love for over 1.5 years. I've tried talking to her, and she doesn't see any issues with our relationship. She says me being with her is all the love she needs. But I need to feel some intimacy. If I bring up spicy sleep topic, she'll make it sound like I'm a spicy sleep perv, and that I'm only interested in her body. But it's even the kisses when I come home from work, sleeping back to back, or her on the couch with the travel cot. To note that I've been helping with the housework. I cook, wash up, watch our son when she needs a nap. She still gets her hair and nails done. And she's a stay-at-home mom, and I work 50 to 60 hours a week sometimes, but I try to make sure that she's not overwhelmed. And I do not suspect that this is depression. The only time she is touchy-feely or kisses me is around her family. It's like keeping up appearances. So I've come to the realization, or I suspect at least, that before we started dating, she only ever dated black guys. Her family is super discriminatory, and they don't approve of interracial dating, so they didn't accept her choices. With her ex, things did not work their way. So I suspect that maybe she got with me as a way to get her parents off of her back. My head is all over the place. Is she having an affair? Is she having a mental health crisis? Is the baby mine? Although I'm not sure she would sleep with another white guy, so I'd probably know if my son is mine. I've spoken with her so many times over this, and she overlooks everything. She says that we have enough affection, and she will still say, "love you," when I say it. So how can I move forward with this? And there are some comments, but yeah, what do you think?
It'll be funny so if you guys are talking about what's your favorite actors? She's like Denzel Washington, Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah, Idris Elba.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh my gosh.
And you're like, dude, that Brad Pitt guy, he's pretty, cool.
Right.
It's like, nah,
I
not
get-
at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is very interesting, because that is just kind of weird behavior. Like, if they weren't all that, intimate before trying to have the baby. I mean, it seemed like, it was probably just a kind of normal amount.
Mhm.
OP didn't seem to have a problem with it. But then, she's trying to have a baby, and then right after, she immediately is like, done, we're good. We don't have to anymore. And even the kisses and stuff, because, like, I get that, for some people, like, going a bit further into intimacy with spicy sleep and stuff, that can be a touchy subject, or people have different preferences and stuff. But even just like kissing, if you don't even want to kiss or like cuddle with your partner, it's like that's intimacy that probably should be there. And if it's not there, then
non-spicy intimacy.
Yeah.
My other question is, how do you not know this?
What do you mean?
That your wife is into black guys. How do you, or like you know what your wife's type is? How do you not know that?
I mean, he did. He told us.
I mean, he does now, but it didn't really seem like going into it.
Well, I
He
think
knew.
he knew because it's not like she just told him this.
Okay.
He's kind of brought it up in a way that like he already knew, but maybe he just didn't think of it. Or maybe it was something that he was kind of insecure with at first dating her, but then kind of was like, well, I mean, I know she loves me. But now that this is happening, he's kind of like thinking back to that. I think that's what's going on here. But we do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, she got what she wanted. The red flag was not waiting for the marriage. Don't marry her. It's not like you have to worry about more kids because she doesn't touch you. For the love of God, don't get married. And OP says, kind of glad we are married. Makes leaving slightly easier. Now I only have to worry about custody and not divorce or assets. And OP also says in later comments, I'm staying with my sister at the moment. For obvious reasons, I feel too embarrassed to speak to my friends about this since they tend to have good marriages, and I've never really spoken about this topic with men. I've only briefly spoken to my sister about this. Late at night, I get wasted and all sorts of scenarios come to my head. That's when I start posting. I think I know the truth. She is not attracted to me, whether it's because I'm, I guess posting on Reddit. I thought just randomly posting on, like, Instagram and stuff, but no. She is not attracted to me, whether it's because I'm a white man or the love is gone. I just want her honesty. If she only used me for a baby, I could get over that because I love my son dearly, but I just wish that she was honest with me instead of dragging this out for years. I want to find someone who wants me and grows as a couple with me. I think I'm ready to leave, but I'm dreading the conversation and all the blame being pointed at me. Plus, her parents will be pissed for obvious reasons. But we do have an update. So first off, I would like to thank everyone for their advice on my original post. It really did help me see sense and also that I am not alone. For months, I've been bottling up my feelings and ashamed to speak to my family and friends about it. Since my fiance would shut me down every time I tried to bring up my feelings. I left the other night to stay at my sister's after I walked out on her. After reading all the comments, I admit I felt more angry than before. I am angry at myself for not seeing all the red flags, for falling for her lies, and for not addressing all of this sooner. But here we are, so I left to cool off. This evening, I went back home in hopes of having the talk with her. I wanted to see my son, and I agreed to stay the night to spend time with him regardless. After we put him to bed, I asked to talk about our issues. I told her how I was feeling, how she doesn't make me feel wanted or loved. I don't feel attractive to her. I kind of just exploded all of my feelings, and she then told me that she wants to be intimate with me, but she has body issues since the pregnancy. For context, she is petite and slim. She went back to her normal weight after birth, has no stretch marks. She still posts selfies on social media and even full body shots too. She always has appeared confident about herself and her weight.
Okay, so lame excuse.
Yeah, she's trying to get away with that. She's what you'd say high maintenance, hair, nails, makeup, etc., and looks after herself very well. And since pregnancy and birth, I have not noticed any changes in herself as a person. I'm guessing that is referring to like, I think he meant to say I have not noticed, and I'm assuming that it refers to like how she puts herself together. But then I thought, why won't you touch me, hug me, kiss me? Even if you didn't feel confident with your weight, these things just did not make sense to me. Anyway, she wanted a cigarette, so I sent her to the shop to buy a pack of her own. She gave me some time to think. I figured if she did have body issues, like she said, and she wants to be affectionate with me, then surely she would get therapy. I'll ask her when she gets back from the shop. I didn't know where to add, but before she went to get cigs, she mentioned about starting the wedding planning and having a fresh start. That she would be more affectionate to me. LOL, no thank you. So interesting. Okay.
She's promising it rather than doing it. Weird. That's weird.
And the fact that she is trying to have a fresh start, but then immediately is jumping into marriage ideas, it just makes it seem like she's only doing that because she knows that he wants marriage. Or has wanted it, you know, because, you know, originally he didn't want kids until marriage. She didn't want that just yet. And he said that he caved and decided that, like, okay, yeah, maybe we can have kids. Not a great way to start to have kids in general.
Usually both people want to have kids.
Yeah.
You want to have a kid?
Not right now.
I didn't say right now. You want to have a kid?
Well, eventually. But I think he wanted, yes.
She wants a kid now.
That's not what I said. But eventually, she came back, and I had a number of my therapists ready to put into her phone. She got a bit pissed and said that she didn't need a therapist and that there's nothing wrong with her. She doesn't need to speak to someone. So I said, cool, no worries. After a bit of silence, I told her that I want to separate and I'm only interested in determining custody of our son.
He's on it. He has a mission and he ain't. Wow. Okay.
Well, good.
Let's go.
He knows what he wants. She started crying and begging for me to understand her. I said that she gives me nothing for me to understand her. Yeah, she doesn't. She actually put her arms around me and held me. And I realized how long it had been since she touched me. Tears started flowing from both of us, and we agreed to finish speaking about it in the morning. She gave me a peck on the cheek and then went up to sleep. Well, naturally, I'm still curious. I did not get any answers from our chat. She wants to be affectionate, but she can't because she doesn't like her body. But then she can all of a sudden put her arms around me and peck my cheek. Why was it so easy for her to touch me in that moment? And it would be so easy for you to search full episodes of more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. It's as easy as that. Search it up.
Boom. Just like that.
Just like that. But there is a little bit more to the story.
Okay.
But
it's a wrap. She's using her affection to manipulate you, giving you something to hang on to.
Exactly.
I'm glad you can see through it and that you're actually, breaking up.
Right. Because, if I, try to look at this, I don't know, objectively or try to just understand all of it, it's like maybe she could, if that was true, what she was saying, which I don't really think it is, about her body image, then, maybe she was just pushing through for that to, try to get him to stay. But I'm sure that OP, kind of felt the genuineness of it, I guess, or, if the hug, if it wasn't just a quick little, you know what I mean, or a side hug, I'm sure if they hugged and started crying together, I'm sure that was no, you would have to be comfortable with touching me to be able to do this right now, So where I am, it's currently 2:15 a.m. She went to sleep about 12ish. Anyway, forgive me, Reddit, but I checked her phone. I just had a gut feeling that she just gave me a fake excuse. Lo and behold, she is definitely not attracted to me. On her browser, she had interracial porn. A lot of it. Oh, wow. She had a Snapchat. I've never used Snapchat, so I'm not sure how to use it, but she has loads of messages, but no text, so it's all deleted. And the whole time we've been together, she has never used Snapchat. And surprisingly, all the little emoji people are black guys. So safe to say, she's been getting herself off on her fantasies. Yikes, dude. Yikes.
All right. Well, that was fun. You got a kid now, and it's time to move on.
Yeah, she literally tried to just straight up baby trap you for her parents' appearances. That is so unfortunate. You're just a victim to all of that.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Not fun.
I've taken pics of what I found in case she denies, deletes, or I need the evidence. I fear she will spin this all on me to keep up appearances. So I need to protect myself. So I'm up all night now with all this information. I feel like a fool. I can't leave in the middle of the night, but I don't want to be here or even look at her in the morning. All I want now is to make sure that I see my son and him be in a healthy environment. And that is the end of that story. My friend exposed my secret because I didn't agree to what she wanted.
She exposed herself as a nasty little goblin lady.
So, Joyce and I were best friends for 10 years. She was the sister I never had, and she came from a really bad home life, so she unofficially joined our family, even spending some Christmases at my mom's with me. By the way, this comes from El Drama Llama, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just gonna guess what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, we met at my high school job when I was 17. We hit it off immediately, and she offered me a Starbucks and declined my offer to pay her back. It sounds silly, but that's how an amazing friendship started. In 10 years, we somehow never really had a disagreement, and maybe that's the reason I never saw what happened coming. Last year, Joyce and her fiance got pregnant, and everyone was beyond excited
ecstatic. She immediately asked me to be the godmother. I planned their entire gender reveal. We planned her baby shower together, and she asked me to be her birth room photographer when little baby R was born. It was hands down the most beautiful experience of my life. Right before the birth, I had a planned trip. During this trip, I got some perspective I didn't know I needed. I had been in a 2+ year relationship with a wonderful man who had an engagement ring purchased, but the time apart made me realize that we really shouldn't get married. I decided to end things upon my return. During the trip, my mom was dealing with the impending passing of her father, and we got into a terrible fight where she said some pretty nasty things. So in addition to losing my romantic relationship, I was also grappling with the loss of a parental relationship. I was an absolute mess. I was 30 pounds underweight. It was a dark time. Joyce and I had always made a habit of staying with each other during dark times. I went to her house just a few days before she gave birth and pretty much just slept the entire time. I was jet lagged by 15 hours. We vegged and eventually I went back home. She gave birth and things were good. After a few months, she and her fiance started looking towards their wedding. They chose a date in early 2020. She had already asked me to be her maid of honor pre-pregnancy, but now the excitement was in full swing. There was something else in full swing too, though. Postpartum depression. That old thing. She was handling it well, but it was definitely coloring interactions. The wedding gave her something happy to focus on. She chose a destination wedding in Hawaii. Around this time, my mom sent her baby gifts, and she texted me saying that she wanted to be respectful of the falling out my mom and I were having. She asked me if I would mind if she called her or saw her. My exact words were, "I absolutely don't mind at all. She's my mom. We will fix things. All I ask is that you make it about you two and don't bring me up at all." And she's sneaky and manipulative, so please just leave any mentions she may make at, "Look, I really don't want to get involved, but hopefully you guys patch things up soon." She immediately agreed and emphasized that she would never cross that line. The months go by and I've still heard nothing from my mom. I've decided that there's nothing tying me to the area, no parents, no relationships. I'm ready for a fresh start. I make plans to move within the next 12 months. I also wanted to backpack long term around the world. In this time, I also started dating someone casually, a woman named Rose. I had always known I was bi, but I never had actually dated a woman. There was a very specific reason my ex-boyfriend and I had not worked out. Now, while chatting with Joyce about wedding planning, I mentioned flying in for her wedding and how I wonder where I'll be. But her reaction is, "Wait, that's after the wedding though, right?" I'm confused. No, the wedding is 2 years away. A few days later, she sends me a lengthy text asking how I expect to be maid of honor if I don't even live in town. How could I possibly help plan the wedding from so far away? I respond that lots of best friends are another's maid of honor while living in different places. Also, the wedding is in Hawaii, so isn't everyone planning from a distance?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, what?
Not everyone lives in Hawaii.
Yeah, I don't think this girl does.
Aloha, aloha, yeah.
There you go.
Who's in the ocean?
I say I would respect whatever choice she thought was best. I explicitly asked if she expected me to put my life on hold for the 2 years. She basically says if I want to be her maid of honor, then yes. She asks if I'll be flying out for the wedding in early 2020 and the bachelorette party. I tell her, of course. Then she drops no. The bachelorette party is in Vegas, summer of 2019. I had not heard about any of this. I tell her, Joyce, even if I didn't move, I could not afford 2 separate vacations 6 months apart. But I promise you, I would not miss your wedding for the world, and I'll help plan absolutely everything. She totally snaps and asks me what the point of having a maid of honor was who couldn't even come to any wedding events. I respond that I love her. I would be honored to be her maid of honor, but if she wanted to ask someone else, then it was her wedding and I would respect that. She texts me a few days later saying she asked her cousin to be her maid of honor. So then she did. She went ahead and got a different one. Look at that.
Look at that. It's almost like you could have just done that the whole time.
Yeah, my feelings were pretty hurt, but I had told her that I was okay with it. Then one day, she posts on Facebook that her and her fiance eloped. Oh, look at that.
After all that bullshit.
Yeah.
You're going to do an elopement?
Dude, I was floored that she hadn't even shared that with me, that they were doing it at all. And I find out through Facebook. Before I can text her anything, she texts me, "I saw your mom today. Just wanted to let you know." I'm stunned. That was 3+ months ago, so I felt like a heads up prior would have been respectful. And this text was just so rude. The conversation goes, "Oh, that's interesting."
Oh, why is that?
"Oh, that was just a generic response. LOL. I almost texted, 'Sorry to hear it, but I didn't want to be mean.'"
Well, I figured it wasn't a big deal.
It's not. "Thank you for texting me."
Yep.
And 5 minutes later,
"Hey, can you do me a huge favor? When my old best friend comes back down to earth, the one that I've known, trusted, and respected for the last decade, give her the memo. I'd love to catch up. Thanks."
dude, I don't want to fight, but that could not have been more unnecessary. And I ended up just calling her. Yeah, that's a crazy thing to say.
Insane.
That's so crazy. She's much softer on the phone, and I find out that she invited my mom to celebrate her elopement. What? You invited my mom and not me? I thought we were the ones that were friends. Huh?
You're
What's
just
up with that?
Stinky little rotten olive.
That's so weird. I'm trying so hard to keep it together. She then starts telling me that I need to call my mom, and she explains how sad the situation was making my mom. What?
What does your mom have to do with any of this?
Yeah, OP literally says, stop. What? Why would I have been discussed in any capacity? That was my one request. And then this girl says, oh, well, she just wanted to know how you were doing.
Oh!
And da-da-da-da-da.
I forgot. This is her estranged mother.
You have a rough relationship. So Opie says, then she can call me Joyce. But she says she thinks you don't want to talk to her. Joyce, I don't need to explain my relationship with my mom to you. She played you like I said she would. Dude, you weren't there. She's so sad. Well, she needs to figure her crap out, and you need to stay out of mine. She keeps protesting when I have a horrible realization. You did not tell her about Rose, did you? Long silence. Well, I did know it was a secret. I finally lost it. It's not a secret. My dad knows about Rose. My coworkers know about Rose. People who care about me know about Rose. My mom is not one of those people, and I so explicitly told her to not mention me at all if she saw my mom. First, I'm screaming at her. Then, I'm crying. I have never felt more betrayed and violated. She immediately realizes exactly how bad she effed up and starts backtracking. I just tell her I can't handle her right now, and I had to go. I sat on my garage floor crying for hours. Everyone agrees that she did what she did because she had an axe to grind with me over the wedding stuff. It wasn't an accident. She just regretted it immediately.
Yeah, she just regretted blowing up her entire friendship permanently with you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. That's the least you could do, is regret it. I texted her that I needed some space. A few days later, she says she needs space too.
Oh, shut up.
So she's going to unfriend me on all social media.
Great, thanks.
A few weeks later, she messages me saying she wanted to see if we could make good. I sent her a lengthy message saying our friendship was never not good to me, but her actions were so out of line and unacceptable, and I never got a real apology aside from her yelling, I'm sorry. While I was hyperventilating, she sends me back a scathing message saying all kinds of super effed up things about what a horrible friend I had been. One of the wrongs that she cited was the weekend I stayed with her after the breakup and how you just slept the whole time and barely even talked to me. It's like, yeah, I wasn't staying with you to celebrate you. I was staying with you because I needed help from breaking up with my boyfriend. It was a hard thing, okay?
I wish we could have just been like, yeah, you know what, you're right. Let's meet up and then just ghost her.
Yeah.
She deserves it.
She does. She deserves all the ghostings in the world. She told me I had some of her clothes and to put them in the mail and blocked me on everything. Well, Rose and I got too serious to stay casual, and I decided I would relocate with her, and that's what I did. I had some shoes of Joyce's that I dropped at her husband's parents' business 5+ months after our fight. I attached a letter thanking her for all the years of friendship and saying I would always have a place in my heart for her little family. I wished her well, and that was the end of that. Or so I thought. By the way, we will never have an end to the amount of stories that you could listen to on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. That's where you're going to find them all. There is a little bit more to the story.
Send her to the island.
Yeah, which one?
The one from Lost.
There you go. That's a good one to send her to.
Yeah.
She'll be real confused.
Yeah.
But anyway, that night, I get a Venmo from her because it was the only thing that she hadn't blocked me on. She sends me $6 and says, 10 years ago, I bought a coffee that started a beautiful friendship. Here's another $6 to buy another because this is the last crap you'll ever see from me. F you for dropping off my things with my in-laws and good riddance wherever the F it is you went. A few minutes later, I get another 99 cents and it says, stay away from my family. I literally
gotta love her sending a whole thing where it's like, and this is the last thing you'll ever get from me, and then she sends you another dollar. She's like, I forgot to say, stay away from my family.
I literally can never tell that part of the story without laughing. Yeah, that's hilarious. So there's my story about the worst bridezilla I have ever personally encountered. To this day, if anything comes up that reminds us of Joyce, Rose quietly says, maybe we could send that to her and get a few more dollars. And that's the end of that story.
Now I'm rethinking marriage.
Yeah, because you get married to a big hole in your pocket.
How do you deal with a partner that seems absolutely allergic to money? OP says. She tries to take her son out every day, buy him things that he likes, and treat him. I have no problem with the occasional treat, but 20 to 30 toys in a day, plus the expenses of doing activities, play area, etc., has eaten us into a financial nightmare. By the way, this comes from Responsible Coil, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I got paid 2 days ago, $1,500, bills and etc. Took a chunk, but there's still enough to survive and do fun stuff. Roughly $600 to $700 once everything's gone out. I checked today. There's about $200 to survive the entire month. Every time I bring it up, I'm either being stingy, I'm trying to pay off debts accrued from not paying bills while unemployed, some of which are hers, and save for a wedding, or I'm being horrible because she wants to get him what he wants. Now, I'm admittedly a bit softer on this because it's not like she's spending everything on shoes for herself, but given this habit keeps landing us in financial hot water, I can't keep asking relatives for help. And she spent $200 on groceries yesterday, a chunk of which she did for a stranger. A nice act, but not one she ran by me before doing it or checked the account, which has dropped us in it. Not to mention it again, came with $20 in toys, $30 in chocolate, with barely any actual food beyond some expensive steaks that she's fond of, and then food for the kids. So now she sees what little we have left, and she's panicking, demanding I come up with a solution, which is likely going to mean eating into the wedding fund, something I'm going to have to console her about. And honestly, part of me wants to flatly explain that she has caused this because she not only has very little money sense, but she's incapable of saying no. I'm not annoyed I have to work to provide for everyone. I'm annoyed that a mess has been created that I now have to sort out because she has no financial sense. If I start setting limits, I'm being controlling. If I don't, I allow her to drive us into a financial disaster. I walk away, I'm punishing her, her sons, and my daughter. I have no idea what to do anymore. I can't pick up more shifts because that's not the kind of job I have. I've already sold most of what I personally own, and I can't keep taking the hit because of her poor impulse control. Quick edit, the daughter is 6 months old, so it's not really possible for her to say she wants new toys and fancy stuff.
Right.
That's
This
crazy.
is a toddler.
That's crazy.
It's not even a toddler.
I'm sorry, an infant.
It's a freaking bean. 20 a day on toys means $20, not 20 toys a day. Sorry if I wasn't clear. Okay, that helps. And yes, they get broken/lost within a couple of weeks. So I often see the cash thrown in the bin. We have an update. I had the conversation. I think she realized she messed up when I told her we have no choice but to use some of the wedding funds. While she's not happy about it, she's fully aware that she has caused the problem and agrees that out of the two of us, I am far more financially responsible or stingy, depending on the day, and telling her that she cannot have her cake and eat it, no matter how nice it would be, has really opened her eyes that I am being serious. And if we have to cancel the wedding, it would be on her for not curbing this spending. As a consequence of this, I am taking control of the finances. All bills are funneling through me, and I've set up 3 accounts: bills, home, and fund, as well as my savings account that I am using to track wedding saving and spending. Doing a full breakdown with her, showing her how much we have to play with once bills/debts are covered, going through how much she spends a day out, and what a weekly grocery bill should come to. Then I'm breaking down the remainder, what needs to go away for the wedding to come to fruition, and what we can afford to have left over for fun days out, toys, and the like. We both took our son out today as he needed new shoes since he wore his old ones out, as well as our daughter, who I need to say is 6 months old. This is not favoritism, and part of why I want to stop this overspending is to prevent her from being spoiled. Once we got them, he wanted a toy. I said no. He didn't like that. But my partner backed me up and stayed firm, which I actually appreciate a lot because she often folds. And we have a second update. We spoke. She understood that if she wants a wedding, then money needs to be controlled. And even without a wedding to plan for, we need to not spend like crazy in order to not end every month on the verge of having nothing. We made spreadsheets, broke down finances, showed that we owe debt and monthly payments versus our current wage. After a couple days pass, she tells me she wants to scrap 90% of the plans for the wedding, telling me she thinks it's just best to tie the knot in a registry office and leave the reception. Her reasoning for this is that her son getting fed up about not having much to do over the summer holidays because he wants to go on trips to the beach with all the trimmings. We're talking bowling, play areas, new toys all the time, etc., etc. And it's hard to do that, save for a wedding, and pay the debts. Honestly, given I said this to her when she mentioned we should do this, I can't help but laugh. She's worried he feels jealous of his brother, who's currently at his father's house, different dads, by the way, and doing fun stuff with him like fishing, which I can sympathize with. Then it started to tirade into how hard she has it, how she feels like she wasted her time planning the wedding when it's not going to happen, basically acting like I canceled it. Blamed her taking him out every day on me because I work from home, and that she is keeping him out of my hair, and how exhausted she is, and how she feels like I don't appreciate what she does. I do. I tell her every time I appreciate it, but she doesn't need to do it. I know it's exhausting. I've told her don't take him out all the time. I offered to go work at the office if she felt bad that he was being loud while I was at work, but no matter what, I am in the wrong. According to her, I can't just say I appreciate her. I have to show that appreciation with affection and spending time with her. While I appreciate this, Reddit, we normally start getting out of bed around 8, take the dog out that she wanted to go to the toilet. I start work at 9, so I work 8 hours a day at my admin job to pay for all the extravagance she wants without appreciation in the slightest. Once I finish at 5, I immediately wash up and start cooking dinner because she hates cooking, and I'm the one who stays in her son's room until he falls asleep so he both feels safe and doesn't start playing instead of going to bed. She claims her back hurts sitting on the floor too long. Before I had this job, I was also the one walking her sons to school and back every day, something she now does and also threw in my face. The only time we get to cuddle and hang out is about an hour a night after 9 when her son falls asleep, which I often try to cuddle or suggest watching a movie. And instead, she just sits there watching her phone or scrolling Facebook. I just feel like, what's the point? And do something else, which turns into an argument because I'm not spending quality time with her. I'm helping as much as I can. If I stop doing any of these tasks, she would complain I'm putting too much work on her shoulders. She does look after our daughters and entertain our sons, which I not only appreciate, I understand it's a big task some days, and I'm as supportive as I can be for that, but I'm not just exactly sitting on the sofa playing video games myself. The conversation ended up fizzling out and we both went to bed annoyed. She didn't take him out today and has been in a mood with me, acting like I appreciate nothing she does. At this point, I don't even want to get married. Heck, I don't even know if I want to stay together. She doesn't respect my boundaries. She basically guilted me into failing my MSc in the final year because she wanted me home more. Her impulsiveness causes problem after problem. She asks for something, I tell her no because it'll affect other things. She begs me and says it won't affect other things. Then the big problem happens and I'm left to pick up the pieces. By the way, if you want to pick up the pieces of my broken heart, because I just found out that you might not be listening to our podcast, here's your opportunity to do that right now.
It's true.
Go to Spotify, Apple, or iHeart. So help me God. Search OK Storytime and start listening to some of our 2,500 episodes, or I don't know what I'm going to do with you. I legally have no idea what could happen to you.
Which makes it not a crime.
Wait,
Legally,
no, don't
he
say that.
doesn't know
Don't say-
what could happen, which means he is completely untouchable.
My feelings aren't respected. And on top of everything else, she keeps throwing ultimatums in my face whenever I say no to something. Despite this, I love her and I fear I'd be making a mistake leaving her. Why? Heck if I know. Love is dumb. I guess, does anyone think I might be wrong for feeling this way, or is this a sign of some sort of mental illness? I'm having a conversation tonight, and whatever comes of it is whatever comes of it, but I'm open to the idea I'm wrong and my pride and ego are binding me. Let's just to close it out, let's give a good old, maybe we poll also.
Yeah, we haven't done a
divorce
poll all day.
or nah. Dakota, your take while we get that up.
I don't know if that will ever stop fully. Even after you get married, maybe you guys go to therapy. It's just gonna be like, oh, now I can do this again. Now I can do this again. Maybe you're making more money in the future. Oh, now I can do this again. Now I can spend the money however I want. Now I can. So I don't know.
Yeah, if OP's
unfortunate for money ever to get in the middle of all this.
And there's just a limit, like the amount of times you can sit down, say it's serious, and then like have, and not even just this specific scenario, but it sounds like it started like revealing like, oh, there's all these different areas. OP's doing a lot of stuff. You know, it's a lot for him, and she's like, hey, you never appreciate what I do and whatever. He's like, well, I do appreciate what you do, and what about what I do?
Right.
You know, so
She's one of those people where you're gonna have to learn the hard way. Unfortunately, you don't want to go down with that ship. She's kind of, you're the ship and she's taking you down. Like, she's like, let's open this, let's open that, let's spend more money, It seems like OP's at their wits' end, and like, I'm a divorce.
How many times do you sit down and have the same serious talk before you're like, we should just stop?
We can try.
I think
therapy.
try like counseling or something to see
yeah,
like, okay,
spending,
is there
like money?
Is there just something being lost in the conversation transfer, the way we communicate, that's like not resonating? Do we need a referee to help like actually see this through? And maybe that's what it is. But I would guess here it seems like it's all kind of all areas of life. And if it's at that point and it just keeps...
Let's do simple math right in front of you. You see what happens here? It's not going up, it's going down.
Yes.